Jerax having to hit one spell. That was his game last time. Hit LSA, Jerax, and that's pretty much the most you can do in this fight. Maybe get a good Laguna play. This guy wants to hit a Fisher. He wants to hit a Totem. He wants to hit an Echo Slam. This guy all the spells you can.
Vamos ver como vai ser a final aí.
Actually, yeah, give
one spell.
Yeah, why aren't you in the booth?
I'm down. I'm down.
I mean, but that is when we saw Jerax shine, right? Is just doing what he does best. And right now, they're, again, trying to play around, I think, the drafts that are coming their way. I mean, let's talk about the maybe problem a little further. The past 2 games, OG preemptively seeming to ban out Storm Spirit, just not wanting to deal with it again. Do you think that's also kind of giving them a disadvantage in that draft where they're having to just go forward and preemptively ban certain heroes?
It's tough because the mid laners are so different with their playstyle, with how they fit their teams, and also with their hero pool. Like maybe he's just got this massive hero pool. He's a lane dominator. Thompson, he's the guy who plays these unique heroes that you know are coming your way, but he's got enough 5, 6, 7 heroes in his pool that he's very good on that can throw you off. Problem is maybe he's just winning these lane matchups because he's getting a favorable hero in them.
Yeah, and perhaps this is where we start to see kind of that difference, right? In being a veteran, and then Thompson, obviously spectacular player who's put up a show here at TI, but maybe starting to realize where that experience starts to show. And now OG's going to have to figure out a way where they can channel that back forward for Thompson as they prepare for a draft in Game 4. Well, gentlemen, we're getting ready. The players are getting settled in the booth. I mean, what are your thoughts on what, obviously, Trent, you believe, all right, let's put Jerax in the hot lane, give him those heroes. Nahaz, what are your thoughts in the draft? What else can we see in their adaptation from games 1 through 3?
I think we need to think a little bit more about Thompson's lane. The Morphling pick seemed good there, especially when you got that pick off on the courier early on, but I want to see Thompson put in a situation where he can actually really pressure maybe, and more importantly, where he can take that tower early.
You can see it from the game 1. They got the Monkey King versus the Storm, which is a good lane matchup. It's not really a good game matchup, but he had a fantastic game there. They win that game. They tried to do the same with game 3, the morph into the Alk. I think it was a good adjustment. It wasn't quite enough. That game was very winnable for OG. I think we're talking about this like, oh, you know, LGD just were way better, but it was kind of one-sided in the end, but that was not an outdrop by any means.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of, to me, what you have to spend in the draft and resources to do that, right? That the cost of them getting that favorable lane was the 2 flex picks in the draft that ended up in kind of suboptimal roles as the game went on.
Yeah, so I mean, we are returning to that point then that OG perhaps just needs to step it up, right? Get comfortable again and play in their element. The draft is only a part of the game. Once they're in the game itself, OG needs to be able to perform in the ways they have and perhaps be a little, you know, a little braver, right? And perhaps a little sillier in terms of the decisions they're making, and that they don't have fear in certain decisions, whereas right now they're trying to react to what PSG is putting.
It has felt like a very emotional run for them, hasn't it? I feel like that seems to be what's fueling them in a lot of those matches, and then taking them further and deeper, and all of this hope. You see them always just talking publicly. They're like, oh, thank you so much for your support. You guys are really driving us. Every time the fans are tweeting at them, they're all responding and just talking about how much it means to them. So getting up to this big final stage, try and go back to your roots. And you're talking about experience, too. I mean, a lot of teams, they still struggle versus that Arc Warden. I think it is something that they want to pull out. I don't know. Like, at what point do you just pick it in the first phase and say, all right, Thompson, you might get a bad matchup, but we're going to try and get something going out of these other side lanes, kind of like the Spectre.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. And there's different builds you can go. We've seen the Necrobook, we've seen the more right-click build, so it is kind of flexible enough, as well as with the lane. We've seen it mid, we've seen it safe lane. Even Anna's played the hero for them, so maybe they just need to go back to one of their more out-there picks and just take a risk, pick it up in the first stage, and hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to take a gamble, now is the time to do it. Obviously, OG now 1 game away from losing in this grand finals. PSG LGD 1 game away from lifting up the Aegis of Champions. Both teams very hungry for it for various reasons, but I think we've all seen that both inside the game and outside of it as well. Both teams are driven and nothing's stopping them on their way to become a champion here at TI. OG, the one who has to step it up. We've talked about them playing in their element, getting a little bit more comfortable. And yeah, I think as you guys have mentioned, maybe taking a bit of a risk.
I think I saw Passerelle stretching in there. Is that a tactic here? Really loosen up here, guys.
Get comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, Mensch saying play a bit more fun, a bit more silly with some of the stuff. I think Passerelle is a great guy to have in there. He's such a funny guy. I love his interviews. Every time they get to him after the draft. Not to say QQQs, his was also fantastic for some reason. But it definitely seems like he's a very positive influence on the environment and the team, and also a great mind of Dota as well.
Yeah, we've also been seeing these like speeches by Mad too. Like they were all turning around, facing the backside of the booth. He's giving this motivational thing, like, you know, guys, you guys have all heard Seb before. He does this thing.
He does.
It's like, we can do this. We made it here. This is our day. We're gonna take this.
And his story's a great one. He hasn't played in a TI since TI2.
Yeah.
It's such a long time. He finished in bottom 4 there as well. And now he's back in a grand finals of all places. It's been such an incredible journey for him.
In the interim, let's not forget that he reached the absolute pinnacle of the game as a coach. Probably best coach all time, 5-time major winner with OG, and he comes back and does this as a player.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think all 5 players here on the side of OG have incredible stories that are driving them both as individuals and then also kind of amplify that effect within the team. And right now, the game isn't over. It's a best-of-5 series. They still have a ways to go to try to lift up that Aegis, and they have to be driven more than anyone to make a comeback in this run. PSG LGD leading 2-1, and PSG LGD looking to close it out if they can win this 4th game. PSG LGD also looking pretty relaxed. We talked about the difference also in obviously the coaching structure here. 357 or QQQ kind of leading or really just handling the draft on his own, whereas obviously OG a little bit more of a joined effort on their side.
Yeah, and he's been there coaching this team for pretty much the entire season, I believe. So much more like he's been fitting with this team, understanding the strategy, what's going to work for his players, where Passerell's kind of a new addition. He's just trying to still figure things out on the fly. And I think that's worked great for OG, is that they are kind of whimsical. They are unpredictable, but LGD, the structure there is just very hard to beat.
Yeah, much more systematic both in the draft and in the game. Well, I mean, what more can we say in terms of OG? Because I'm looking ahead to the draft, and it seems like, because every question I have seems to be answered by PSG LGD. They keep on banning out No-Tails heroes. They target him, and then they're like, all right, we've targeted him enough. I think now we're going to turn to Thompson and target him out completely. Sure, the Morphling came out, and as Gods mentioned, it did have a possibility. Well, we'll find out, ladies and gentlemen. The players are in the booth. It's time for Game 4 in the Grand Finals.
PSG LGD versus OG. Grand Finals Game 4.
Game 4. We've had 3 fantastic games so far. OG took the first one. PSG LGD now leading 2-1 with a 2-game run against OG. The top 2 teams here at this year's International, and they're looking to take one more step closer to the Aegis, and the bands are underway. Spectre, Tiny, and Silencer. No big difference. OG this time once again banning out the Silencers themselves when they don't have that second pick. They have the first pick, and they're banning out the Silencer.
Definitely seeing this emerging meta within the BO5. Small little adjustments, will be made from game to game. Curious to see where heroes like Enchantress end up. LGD had 2 games. That's something OG. You talk about Seb in the offlane Nahaz having a better game, stepping up. His best game, Enchantress, yesterday.
Best game ever.
He carried that game, and that's a hero I wouldn't mind seeing OG pick up early on. Faker, another big hero as well.
Top half of the ban pool getting very crowded. Certain heroes getting pushed out. All these new faces that haven't been there the whole tournament long. Oh, there's a face the crowd likes.
Oh, man.
Ame really putting up the force in Game 3.
And what a game. And that's where the point that I made in the last panel about Chalice being so good on some of these newer heroes in the meta, like Weaver, becomes so threatening. Because they thought that was an offlane Weaver before most of that draft, and all of a sudden it's Ame on Weaver at the end.
Yeah, you just have to treat it as both, which can be very frustrating, obviously. A little more threatening, I think, than Alina in many ways.
And OG do take out that hero.
Yep, respect to that Weaver.
So this time, it is PSG LGD on the Radiant side with the second pick, and that's OG on the Dire with the first pick overall. So I think if there was a chance, FY gets the praise. He definitely deserves after last game. If there was a chance to take one of those earlier, like kind of risky Thompson heroes, I feel like this is a great setup, right? You have the first pick, you see 2, and then you have a chance at that 4th pick. And then you have some extra bans too.
Well, Earthshaker out of the pool, but the Wisp is still in.
As is the Enchantress. I imagine those are heroes OG's kind of considering between the 2 of.
I go Ench for sure. I think with the way Seb played that hero yesterday.
Yeah, and the best thing about that is that it's a non-sacrificial hero that also benefits Jerax so much. This isn't some Treant or some Wyvern.
No, they're go Wisp? Okay.
Yeah, Io Gyro is scary because it's pretty good against the Ench as a general matchup. So you're probably just thinking, like, if we get this Ench, they're going to go Io Gyro.
And they banned the Shaker too, so
yeah,
now that's not available.
So the funny thing is, though, it is in some ways, but on the other hand, when you have that long-range initiation, that Earthshaker Kunkka combo that they had in the last draft that can initiate deep into the team fight, catching the Wisp with the tail end of those stuns. All of a sudden, the Wisp feels very vulnerable to the burst damage of the Enchant.
I would be so fine with a Kunkka first phase here, honestly. Like the flexibility of that as a support too.
Well, you knew when you were taking Wisp that was going to be the price of admission.
All right, the Enchantress once again going in favor of PSG LGD as we hear cheers for No Tail.
The other hero we have yet to see appear yet is Drought Ranger. That was featured very prominently in some of the earlier rounds of the main stage, but hasn't come up here in the Grand Finals.
Oh, wow.
Potential counter. So worried about the IO Gyrocopter. They're going to have that Morph ready. They're going to steal the Flat Cannon.
This is a team that is feeling itself right now. To first phase Morphling here.
I feel like you go away from the gyro and they go to the PL.
Yeah.
And they kind of get the favorable carry matchup. It's something I know, like some of the players backstage, people were saying, it's not really about the carry matchups anymore.
Yes.
You need to make sure you have a good lane. So you can't just pick this PL thinking it's going to counter a Morphling. You need to make sure he has a good lane. It is one of the best heroes against Ench, actually. I think it's much more picked against the Ench than the Morphling, the lane matchup. With all the agi you get from your Phantom Rush, you've got the nuke as well. PL does seem like one of the better heroes against Enchantress.
Yeah, we can take care of that Alchemist right away, too. The Earthshaker's already gone, so a couple of heroes that PL does not enjoy playing up against too much.
Maybe even bad in the Kunkka, too. That's a hero that matches up well against most of Thompson's mids. I
am so down with that. I actually thought that the first phase Kunkka by Trent could have been a sick call. I'm so down with banning Kunkka. Also, you think about banning Phoenix after that last game, honestly. And they're so, LGD correctly now focusing on that Thompson hero pool. Would not be surprised to see the Invoker taken out.
Yeah, I mean, they've focused on several. Arc Warden has come out a couple times. The Pugna, the Monkey King, of course, last game being banned out. Will OG take out the Kunkka here?
It's also still the Ursa play, too. Just someone who's looked very good versus the PL. There are some questions in terms of like being kited. It depends on the IO pairing, too.
And Seb has played the Ursa at that offlane position, so that's definitely an option for OG. That's a hero that I think could have a lot of impact in this game.
Yeah.
OG taking some of their time, trying to figure out how this next phase is going to play out.
It's tough. They wish they had like 3 or 4 bans here. They'll ban the Storm, you know. It's like there's still Kunkka, there's still Phoenix.
There's still Clinks, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of scary heroes for
Too many.
But after that initial display from LGD where they showed they're willing to first pick a Storm, it's probably worth banning against them.
Yeah. No, it's just it's a theory that holds in a lot of other sports. You try to never get beat the same way twice.
10 seconds remaining.
So LGD have a relatively easy second phase here. Basically, just going to reveal both of their supports and then look for that 10th pick for maybe in the end. Hence why OG using so many of their bans for it. All of the top tier supports still left in besides the Silencer. We still have the Bane if they want that versus the IO +1. We still have the Vengeful Spirit as well.
That's kind of a nice position to be in where you're just picking supports here because you have the last pick of the draft. You don't want to get into this second middle stage and you picking cores and having them get counterpicked along the way. So they're going to just basically set themselves up to get this 10th pick, maybe hero that's going to have a great game.
PSG LGD once again continue to focus on the Thompson bans with that Pugna coming out. Now their turn to pick their next hero.
Yeah, that would be one of those cheekier strats that I alluded to before. This idea, like they use this early sustain of the Pugna, healing up the IO, who's then tethering the Pugna. That's like instant health and mana, and then they use that to sustain pushes early on in the game. Very frustrating to deal with.
Yeah. Expect to see a support here. The Venge is still in the pool, of course, which we did see by Xnova.
Yeah, Venge, another one of those heroes that we talked about, right, where it's so much prominence earlier on in the International, and then hasn't had as much priority, but definitely a good showing in that last game.
Oh! Yes. Okay, not the most common hero versus PL, obviously, as there's some disadvantages there because you can just doppelganger up over the ice shards.
No, but it's the same. It's not quite the same theory, but it's similar to the Earthshaker idea that you have a hero now that can long range initiate, that can get you in the back of that fight, threaten the Wisp from the get-go.
I would say also it's the LGD philosophy. Let's have a good laning stage. We're going to put this Tusk with Enchantress, very scary dual lane, a lot of kill potential with the Ice Shards block with the Enchantress right-click. Probably see that like Lightstone build on her, and Snowball then as well as a way to stop TPs and gap close.
So how do you guys feel about this Shen pick? Because it does give you a support duo that's extremely low on disable.
Yeah, I think it's good.
That's been a big problem.
It secures your safe lane though. Like that, you got to give this PL a better lane. I think Chen has shown that he is one of the best supports to secure the safe lane. He's not this game influencing hero he used to be that like pushes all your towers and wins you the game like at 20 minutes by just pushing everything, but he does give you a better early game.
Yeah, but it feels to me right now that the last two picks from OG need to answer this team fight potential on the LGD side. They need to have some transition out of the laning phase.
I think that's where we may see something like the Centaur come back for Seb, something that's going to give them an initiation, a stun that you mentioned. You definitely need that against Morphling. You need to be able to jump on him and stop him from morphing strength, or how are you ever going to kill him? Right now, these three heroes do not ever pose a threat to kill a Morphling.
Is that what you really want as your leading stun, though? Centaur?
Yeah,
like,
so the animation is just terrible.
I mean, maybe if they
even with a
lose
blink
the
dagger.
waveform key on the keyboard or something, you might not be able to escape, but, like, my God, not the best initiator.
Oh, you're on today, Trent.
Well, PSG LGD, what are they looking for here? Another support?
I also feel the 8th pick is more likely going to be a mid for OG because they're going into the double pick, so you may as well pick Thompson's heroes first.
The thing you don't want banned.
Yeah. But,
I like how you can go like a greedier ranged hero when you have a Tusk, because Tusk doesn't necessarily need too much, but okay, they really want that Brewmaster.
All right.
So that means it's probably support Ench then?
Again, we just talked about the same thing previous game. It's the potential for outplay from the 3 and the 4 position is now so there for LGD, right? I mean, what are you going to do as a Chen or an IO to counter the kind of team fight potential?
Yeah, this is a great pick because it deals with the Phantom Lancer while also still having that strong lane. This is also why Enchantress is such a great opening pick, because it can be pushed onto the 5 position role. That's something OG themselves have done, and something X-Nova is very comfortable playing as well as a 5.
If you just look to hunt down this IO every fight too, right? Just toss him up with the Cyclone. Suddenly, this major key of your draft from OG, your first overall pick, can just feel completely worthless.
And not just the IO, but a lot of the tanky frontliners like the Centaur that we thought about are vulnerable to the exact same thing, getting tossed up.
All right, it's game time.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Coming back.
Look, you got to the final of TI with this hero.
This is some Seb Nix or something that they want here, I feel like.
Please ban Kunkka, though. I think they're learn their lesson and ban Kunkka. Don't give maybe another chance. Yeah. But I love it. You know, Thompson, put him on one of his signature heroes, put him on one of his best heroes in your elimination game. This is the way to go out. Or take a game 5, ideally.
Right. I mean, this is their shot, right? So give him what he's comfortable with. Had a rough game, but it's great to see that they have the confidence, despite that earlier game, to come back.
There's the Centaur.
Wow.
They will remove it, though.
Do you go back to the Underlord here for some?
No, I don't like that hero at all.
They need a stun.
Yeah.
I mean, the hero feels really bad,
slow.
but you need like a tanky frontliner, right?
Kind of, you need a way to start a fight too. Invoker kind of gives you that with the way he plays the Quaswex Invoker with the Spirit Vessel.
Enigma is okay.
Ooh.
I mean, maybe not the biggest Seb hero of all time, but there's no BKB cancel just yet. It allows you to push very early if you get a lead. It can actually bully in the lane some.
But if you pick Enigma and you don't win that lane hard, like, what does Enigma do in this game without a BKB?
I mean, what does any hero do in this game? Like, they have
excellent question on the panel. OG.
I mean, Enigma is kind of the all-in push pick, though, too.
I don't know. I feel like you need some hero who can fight with this Quaswex Invoker, right? Because we're assuming, like, typical Invokers, what you go ahead and do is, all right, an Axe. That's good. That's a good stuff.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Okay.
Down.
So here's the problem. They don't play this X-Sword Invoker, right? You play this X-Sword Invoker, you pick a Nyx Assassin, or you pick a Centaur War Runner. You go across the map, you blink, you stun strike. Wow, gold. But Quaswex Invoker, he needs someone who can actually go out and fight with him in this early mid-game. And so the Axe will be the answer here for Seb. Definitely like it. Good pairing with the IO and available for some cheeky creep.
But it's...
I keep saying cheeky, but, you know, the creep cutting is very good.
That's what I was kind of wondering with this last pick. Like, you need an IO partner. You want to have good, strong lanes. And it also gives you a Morphling solution. If he's playing on too much agi, you get that blink call with Blade Mail, you can blow him up.
You can, but I tell you what, it has the same problem as the Centaur, that the animation on that Berserker's call is pretty long.
Well, OG have made their call here in the draft. We're just waiting for PSG LGD to answer the call with the very last pick here for Game 4.
This could be your match point hero.
Yeah.
Oh, it's baby.
It's... Wow.
Okay.
The Bloodseeker makes a return. We have all 10 heroes lined up. I mean, we talked so much about what OG can do. They're showing us some ideas here that they're going back to the roots. What are your thoughts, gentlemen?
Thompson needs to have the game of his life.
All right, Thompson needs the game of his life. Well, this is the moment to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready for Game 4. We'll have a chance to hear from Casey and the coach of PSG LGD.
357 and Helen, once again, thank you so much. Now, how do you feel about OG's draft?
他们的阵容前面输出有点低吧，然后节奏很依赖卡尔，然后觉得比较一般。
Well, for their draft, they lack damage in the early game, and they depend on the invoker for their tempo controlling. I think it's pretty average.
And how do you feel about your draft?
你的阵容呢？
我觉得我这个阵容如果线上能处理好点，应该没什么问题。
If we have good lanes, we're good.
Good luck. Best of luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great to hear some insight as we get ready for Game 4. PSG LGD playing to lift up the Aegis after one more win as OG tries to make a comeback run. We'll return to our casters, Odie, Merlini, and Fog.
Thank you very much, Chobi. Yes, Game 4 now between PSG LGD and OG as PSG LGD lead the charge in this best of 5, 2-1. Can they do it here? Is this the TI winning game, boys? We're seeing again OG trying something a little different. There's the Axe, another hero that people just aren't playing, but they're bringing it out here on their potential knockout game of the TIA Grand Finals.
Such confidence, right? Like they just lost with Chet, they just lost with PL, and they just lost with Invoker, and they're like, doesn't matter, we're gonna stick with our comfort, try to just play our own game. And I like that they're at least sticking to their guns.
And LGD's coach seems super confident. He's just like, yeah, no problem. I'm very happy with the draft.
So what sort of the panel talks about this offlaner, this Axe that gets picked up. They were looking for a hero that sort of offers some sort of a disable. Do you think this was sort of the best option? Were there sort of other things that you're a little surprised that OG didn't prioritize over going for the Axe?
I don't know if I can think anything just straight up the top of my head. Just can't remember all the bans and everything, but it's a hero that we just don't see. It's a hero we just don't see often for a good reason.
I think Prue will destroy him in a team fight. You can cycle him, he's useless.
Yeah.
Like he won't be able to get back in position. He can even cycle him during the Blink Blade Mail call if he's prepared. And yeah, he's going to do very well in lane, I would say, and he is a decent partner with the Wisp, but he struggles a lot in the mid game.
Yeah, and even versus the Tusk too, right? In a lot of situations, if the Tusk is in a good spot, you can get the snowball saves over and over again. So yeah, we'll see how it can work out for them, but I do feel like in the lane, this Axe, of course, can put on a good amount of pressure.
And we'll see how well Chalice is able to deal with that down there on the bottom, and what sort of lanes we do see from PSG LGD if they want to send down a support down there, or if they're going to just sack that bottom lane and leave Chalice alone.
Some friendly tipping on, some nice exchange coming out there. As we do see, of course, Enchantress also. X-Nova playing the support Enchantress. Not something we see so often, but we have seen it relegated to that role, especially from OG.
How many chickens have died at this spot?
Got to be careful. Looks like X-Nova's not going to be patient enough. The courier's starting to move out, but he's headed away from that mid lane as he'll look towards the top, as it seems, to join forces with FY and Arme, making sure that the Morphling can find the farm against Anna's PL in this safe lane. At the same time, TP up from Jerax. Join in, tethers across to Anna. And this mid lane, this will certainly be the one to watch. We saw Thompson Invoker already once here in this Grand Finals, and it did not have a good time. But top lane, the shards from FY out, trapping out Jerax and Notel. Jerax has got the regen. Penitence from Notel onto FY will force back the Tusk. But this mid lane matchup, should this go better for Thompson than it did when he played against Somnus' Kunkka?
Yeah, there's no way for him to kill the Fort Spear super easily, so he can actually use it this time. And I think it'll be, I mean, he shouldn't get destroyed like last time.
It's really got to be dependent on the side lanes, right? Like if those side lanes start dropping low as soon as this Bloodseeker hits level 3, that's when you can start getting ran down very easily as an Invoker. Even with you have your Fort Spirits and everything up, it's very difficult because that movement speed that you have. You have 282, and this Bloodseeker is going to be moving, for the most part, above 320 in this laning phase. So I am a bit concerned for Thompson, but he has to be able to work really well around this Fort Spirit.
Already these early levels, Somnus playing the lane perfectly in its aggression. 8 for 3 against their 3 for 1 on these early levels in that mid 1v1 matchup.
They've got Jerax low already. X-Nova though.
Jerax sort of playing the mid. X-Nova's got the fairy fire. Jerax, he will fall, but not before they get the kill on X-Nova himself. FY also potentially in trouble. Anna comes across. FY does still have a snowball, but potentially unlikely to save him as Anna surely wants to still chase and indeed rushes forward. There's Jerax with the tether. He's got the snowball to dodge the Spirit Lance at least, but FY very low. Actually gets taken down there. All right, the blast from Notel's Satire Tormentor. So OG getting themselves a second kill up top.
But all those creeps side of the tower with no one farming them, they actually have a double wave on the side of OG going into LGD's tower. So yeah, they lost the tower and they they lost even in the first blood, but I think it's actually working out quite well for them.
And we're seeing what pretty much is expected as well in the bottom lane at the moment. Steb having that favorable matchup. 21 for 0 against the 10 for 1.
He's just creep cutting and pulling it into the jungle, so he's actually farming just a bit more than that Brewmaster. I like that Jarex instantly reacted and just went top. And let's see what they can do with this. They've got a triple wave coming under here too, so Ame might struggle a bit to get these last hits if OG plays aggressive, which they are immediately.
FY pops the shards out. Anna looking to get himself straight on top of Ame. Jarex is there with the tether onto Anna. No telling trouble as the 3 of PSG LGD focus down the Chen and take the kill. Now with the snowball, they head over to Jarex as Anna. Jarex, they're potentially in trouble. The fair fire from Jarex, healing Anna up a little bit. Jarex trying to look for the body blocks. The nuke damage from Ame not enough to kill off the PL as Jarex with the tether gets himself out as well. But mid indeed, Somnus diving in Thompson. He's got the cold snap. The tower heading into Somnus as well, but Somnus gets the final touch, gets the kill. He has got a fairy fire and stick charges as well if needed, and he doesn't even need to. The Tango regen enough as Somnus gets the solo kill. Whoa! Woo! He's got his sunglasses on today.
Just too much pressure coming out of top right now. It's really hurting Thompson's lane. This Bloodseeker's almost level 5 to a level 3 Evoker.
Yeah, Thompson's just really struggling with the CS too.
Yeah.
With the Quelling Blade and the Blood Rage, just not enough. I mean, he does like the Quas Wex, but just really struggling with his early phases in the game.
Yeah, it's just, he's sitting at like 100 damage or more on the Bloodseeker, not even including the Quelling Blade. So Thompson walks up, actually gets caught by the Blood Right.
Thompson. He walks into the Blood Right. Now Somnus is just looking to chase him down as, oh no! Thompson making a huge mistake in that middle lane. Top lane, no tail will go down. As Anna looking to fight back, trying to chase down FY. They get the set out Torment to blast. The Spirit Lance as well as FY will fall. OG get a trade up top. But that middle lane indeed at Thompson, it looked like he felt that he could move up the ramp out of the Blood Right in time. But it kicks in, and Somnus in that middle lane, keeping that edge once again against the Thompson Invoker, but this time on the Bloodseeker instead of that Kunkka from earlier.
I feel like I've seen this a few times where the Invokers just struggle a lot versus Bloodseeker because he has very little move speed. He has 0 points in Wex, and he has no boots. He's actually looking like he might be going for Aquila early, so...
And that's with the Bloodseeker not even having boots yet. The Bloodseeker just has 50 movement speed over you at all times. And I don't know if Thompson can play in this lane. They're just going to go and kill him once more instantly as soon as he shows back up. And right away, he doesn't have TP.
Yeah, FY is in for the side. He's got a double damage rune as well. FY is there in underneath the tower, punching down Thompson. Thompson falls once again. Jarex comes in with the tether across. They try to find something to respond, but Jarex, he's in trouble. He will live. They get the kill. FY, he'll go down as well. So OG able to strike back in that middle lane with the rotation, getting the double kill for Nova. Orcs in against the easiest kill of his life there onto Jarex. As they will find a trade Chalice as well, looking for this wraparound. He's got level 6, does have Primal Split available. CP back in from Thompson with the Primal Split ready to go. He looks towards Thompson underneath the tower. Thompson, he needs help, but he needs it now. Has he got any way of playing his way out of this one? He's only got poison, quasi exhaust, so no escape for Thompson. As the walk around gang from Chalice with that Primal Split successful. It's even more than successful. It's brilliant. Double kill for Chalice. As he just walks over to mid as soon as he hits 6 and gets that playoff.
What a great offlane player that is. If you try and contest Axe, you're going to get destroyed. So he gets level 6 when the Invoker is level 4, and it's just bullying at this point.
They're taking the tower already too, so they're going to have access into the enemy jungle. They're going to have access into OG's jungle, where Thompson is going to have to. He's going to have to go to the jungle to try to catch back up here. He's level 4. Oh man.
A lot of weight still to be on Seb. He's had this bottom lane, he's got good levels, and he's got decent farm too. He's top of the net worth this game. Very close to having the Blink Dagger on top of the Ring of Health. But TPs are heading down. Somnus seeing if we can find the Rupture. Seb, oh, he goes to farm. That's going to give time for Somnus to close the gap, get the Rupture off. He's still pretty beefy, but is he beefy enough? I don't think so. The shards are out, trapping him in. The spin though, the taunt, the stun strike. Seb, he gets the dunk off. The snowball save wasn't in time. And Jarex, he's in with the tether. OG, they're turning this one around. They look to run down their fire. Out the snowball, the shards already used. There's no way to escape from going to the juice. Is it another? Oh, it is. Seb, he gets off. He can't get the dunk off. F5 will survive.
Oh, that's a Blink Dagger right there.
But a very neat little play there from Seb, being able to hold his ground. The Sunstrike, the dunk just before FY could get that snowball save. It almost looked like the Bloodseeker was brought into the snowball, but at the same time getting that dunk off Seb.
He's actually decided to go for the Vanguard instead. Just wanting
having the money.
Yeah, just wanting to tank up a bit more, I guess.
I mean, as we saw in situations like that where he's getting beaten down by the Bloodseeker, it certainly will have that extra bit of time for Jarex to come in with those sort of plays.
He's still going to get that blink at a very fast time, and they're going to really need him to make plays all around the round, because we already see PL getting outfarmed a bit by the Morph, and the Bloodseeker to the Invoker comparison is crazy. And Chalice has a blink already, so he's going to be the one making tons of moves around the map, and Sebastian has to match it.
This Bloodseeker is certainly going to become a big issue unless Seb can come up with a place.
Thompson, he's still committed on Exort for now. He is 3 points in, not having any in Wex.
I may have to be careful though, they do have those deep wards down there. He was walking around on 1 HP, so he has to be aware of the Sunstrike potential coming from Thompson. Seb down bottom, getting hunted, but he's out with T. Back up towards the shrine, gives him a tip on the way out as well. So it's better luck next time. As PSG LGD are now in position though to push down on the bottom lane. Chalice. Not quite got the mana for the prime split. He does now. The ball charges, so he's ready to go, ready to fight if OG do head down bottom. It's top lane in fact where Anna and Jarex are placed, and it looks like OG are unlikely to come down to here, at least before Seb has his blink back damage.
OG's not able to really set up that push towers too well. They've got a chance. They want to be able to take some more building advantage versus LGD's lineup. Because LGD constantly knocking on their buildings.
And they're also under level on the side of OG. Really struggling. That Invoker just hit level 6. Chen's still level 4, as is Tayo.
So much weight coming in. His axe's shoulders to find play after play around the map to get. The thing is that's the one thing that they can do, right? If once that axe gets Blink Dagger, the way to get Thompson back in the game is Sunstrike kill. He has to get the last hit with that Sunstrike.
And it is really quick item coming from 9 minutes in, he's going to have the Blink Vanguard done. So he really does have to make something happen with this. If he's unable to do something with this timing, it's going to cost the team a lot. They prioritise giving Seb that safe lane on the bottom, where he's been able to farm up 9 minutes in, Blink and Vanguard. He has to make the place happen.
And there's also a smoke on the courier, so they can immediately go for that. Let's see what their target is. Brewmaster looks like he's in a pretty good position to break it, just in case. But looks like they're eyeing up maybe in the mid lane.
Top Anna, Jarex heading over to Chalice. He's in, he's ready for the counterplay. Boys, the Primal Split. Anna and Jarex in a lot of trouble as Jarex gets focused down by the Primal Split. They've got the snowball in onto Anna. Back up his inbound. He's on the side, and he looks at the play, jumps in, gets the call. The Sunstrike down as well, and Anna's back in. They get the dog off, they'll kill off FY. But now Anna and Seb, they've got to somehow get out of it. Arme into the Actor, manages to punch down Anna. Seb's in trouble too. He looks for another call off. Can he get the spins? That's the question. Jarex comes in, he's giving him the reject. Just gets the dog. Seb gets the second, he finds the double kill. Jarex will be fine, and so will Seb. Seb gets sent back by No-Tail, and TP's back in straight away. He wants to keep this fight going. We'll see if he finds another opportunity to get another Blink. Blink tries to go for X-Nova, but X-Nova just out of range still. The Spirit hitting into him. They'll chase down, so they have the damage to burst him. The Cully Blade just enough to bring him down, so he gets bursted by the Sunstrike. OG certainly showing signs of being able to utilize this axe to take the fight against PSG LGD.
Some small signs of life. And Thompson, thankfully, actually like that dunk is great. Sure, he doesn't get the last hit, but give it to the Invoker. He needs to get these kills to catch back up in levels in particular. Because the gold was so much with the Invoker, it's all about getting levels up on this hero right now.
Yep, exactly what Seb needed to do to put his team back in the game. And now Invoker feels comfortable enough to go for that minus. And another death on the Morphling side too. I'm not exactly sure what he was with an axe. He was as and then he just got obliterated. I don't know if I like doing that by duration, but
yeah, he did shift back into his hero into Morphling, but in time he just Seb caught him off guard, I guess. As we have 2,500 gold on Somnus. He hasn't quite picked anything just yet. Maybe wanting to decide if he wants to be the one that goes for the Radiance. Because I did see Chalice queue it up earlier, but I think they're kind of debating who's going to get it at a better timing versus this Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what Bloodseeker goes for here. Blade Mail is so-so, but I think the axe is just causing him like tons of issues.
Sunstrike.
It's going to be fine. FY's in with Snowball, buying time. Now Chalice looks to turn towards Jarex. Jarex is going to relocate back on his second. They get the call, they get the kill. They get the John 12 off. Chalice, they get the dunk off onto the over.
And up top.
Oh, they're buying more maybe. Jarex. And the God keeps it safe and out. Axie 6-0-1, utilizing that 9-minute blink dagger and vanguard to perfection.
He is coming in so clutch. During all this, Thompson is just sitting in the triangle of the dire jungle, farming, while Sebastian just runs around and makes play after play after play. They bring back the relocate with that Axe top, and it seems like it catches LGD a little bit off guard.
With this space, as you say, it's very close to the minus. Thompson.
Level 9, Bloodseeker level 11, quite a recovery.
Yeah, I'm a little bit scared for the quarters of LGD now. I mean, looks like Bloodseeker is going for the Shadow Blade, potentially a Silver Edge later, but it's still going to be very tight. They kind of just have to ignore this X and hope that the Brewmaster finds him before he can get that jump.
2K lead now for OG. We say with that Midas on Thompson, as long as they can keep making the space for him, he's going to be able to farm at a pace that will allow him to catch back up with the course of PSG LGD.
On OG, they have a lot of ways. With the Axe, they have so many ways. It's actually like a team fighter and also a pickoff hero. While on LGD, their team fight is pretty reliant on the Brewmaster having his ulti up. Besides that, they're just a lot about pickoffs. So OG does have a little bit of a window here with this level 13 Axe.
Straight in on China. Anna's got the double gang. He gets himself out of the blood right. Goes for the TP away, but the snowball's there from FY. Quick uppercut to finish off, and at the same time down bottom. They get the call, the Sunstrike. It does not look like it's nearly enough damage to bring him down as the stick charges come out, and so do the TPs. The counterplay being good for Chalice. Trying to find Seb. Seb is going to blink up in a second, and does he get off? The clap was there. Chalice able to cancel the blink, but Jarek comes through. Seb trying to fight back. He's got the call. Can he get the sprint off in time? Into the double. The stick charges, though. Keep Chalice safe. Allow him to get the sprint off at the same time in the jungle. FY and Arme, they found No Tail. They'll be able to pick off the chen to the side. As Arme in the Axel gets the call, controlling No Tail. The cyclone from Chalice throwing Seb up. But they won't look to fight into him anymore. Seb will be fine. Just No Tail to fall there off the back of that play. But both cores again of LGD keeping themselves alive. They Chalice with the clutch stick play there as he was very close to getting burst down by the culling blade.
Looks like they're trying to set up on top some stuff.
Ame going for it early, Morbid Master, he can stay sustained in that. And also, later on, he could build into a very useful item versus that Axe, because you expect that the Axe is going to have a Blade Mail pretty early in this game, and Morphling very susceptible to a Blink Axe.
That's the bait play. They get the call onto the two of them. Seb jumps in. The sun strikes down. The stun as well. The micro play. They've got the lockdown onto both of them. Somnus falls as well. No Tail with his army of creeps, holding them down, getting the 2 kills.
They just can't fight in the set right now. He's everywhere. He's all around the map with a relocate, and every time they fight him, they lose.
And that Blade Mail's getting dangerously close as well for Seb.
He can kill Bloodseeker as well as the Morphling pretty much any time that he fights him around the map with this Blade Mail.
And they just don't have enough damage for him. Like, he's not going to be running around with Rupture, and Enchantress isn't going to be hitting him when he has a Blade Mail on. Morphling doesn't have enough items, so he's still going to be a threat for some time to come. And Brewmaster ult is very long cooldown relative to how often Seb can initiate.
Fine. It's going to be drawn back very, very far there. Seb blinks away as FY now surrounded as the relocate comes through. And Jackson to pick up the kill on FY.
4K gold advantage, 6,000 experience advantage, and this is just OG running around his 3 or 4 heroes, while Thompson is so happy now.
He's climbing back into the game. He absolutely has. He's now level with the farm of Arme's Bloodseeker, and down bottom again, Seb finding the opening to make these plays happen. As Somnus found out in the jungle. Seb 7-0-4 on his Axe.
And he wants to keep going. Ame has shown his face in mid. It starts to strength more. Call up.
Space is there for them to push down on this tier 1 mid. TP coming in from Chalice. He's got the Primus Split available. Arme looking to kick the fight off. Waypoint forward. Chalice jumps in with the clap. Holding off for the Primus Split for now. Now lets it out. Seb tries for the call, but the Primus Split's already there. X-Nova with a wrap around. The impetus onto No Tail. No Tail's gone. Cyclone sending Seb out of the fight at the moment. Up into the air. Arme there tries to surround, but Seb gets the blink off. Away from Arme. The shards are down. Seb tethered up by Jarak. Seb walking back in. Tries for the call. FY goes for the snowball across towards Jarak. But now the TP. Thompson's in. Looks for the combo onto Arme, but Arme's back into the Morphing. Starts to attribute shift back into strength. FY uppercut on Thompson. Jarak tethers across. Keeping this man alive as Anna. Running herself away from Chalice. Chalice trying to find Jarak. As Jarak is into the trees. We've got Seb as well. Looking for Somnus, but Somnus has the damage. On top of Jarak. Somnus gets the triple kill. Maybe even more. Anna now all alone. No Tail's trying to come across to help him. Anna turning towards Nova. He's stuck in there with him as Anna possibly find over. He does. He's going to have Doppelganger back up in a second, but the Blood Bright is in there in time. It's not. Doppelganger's back up. He could jump out. Looks towards Chalice. Spirit Lance finishes Chalice off. Anna gets another. Somnus did find no tail, but Anna's still going. Can Somnus kill the Doppelganger's there? Anna trying to phantom rush himself away, but Somnus in with the chase, the diffusal lane. On Somnus over FY with the shards. Shoves an igloo into the backside of Anna as he takes him down.
What a comeback there from LGD. From the start of the fight, pretty interesting stuff to point out too. I saw Chalice jump. You saw he hesitated on his ulti. He actually killed the creep, hit level 12, skilled up the primal split, so when he went in, he actually had the higher level of the ult. So he got a Cyclone in the backlines on the Phantom Lantern, delayed the fight a bit, but Anna showed up with that diffuse ult, got a couple kills, but Somnus is a big winner in that fight, cleaning up almost everybody.
He killed Thompson as soon as he showed. Thompson, yeah, he's farmed, but he still has no defensive items. He just gets ruptured and run down by this Bloodseeker, and Somnus was able to run around the backlines with the Shadow Bite that he had.
Let's see if they can make something happen with the smoke. Seth, he's in. Onto Nova with the Sunstrike. It's the burst damage enough. It's more than enough.
Max Exort.
They're now set up to push onto that tier 1 tower mid, OG. Taking the one down bottom. And they should be able to find this one too. Primal split is up if Chalice wants to look to join to the fight. But they'll let that one go. PSG LGD as OG claim the tower.
I think they're going to wait until the Bloodseeker has BKB in particular for the next fights, because when he has that, he's going to have so much more freedom to take out the IO, go for the backlines onto the Invoker, and not have to worry so much about that PL. He still really has to watch out for Seb on that Axe, though.
They're relocating around a little bit, just using it to push out the lanes. Jerax was in the jungle, but they're forcing out the lanes a lot so that Axe does have these opportunities while LGD are still farming for the BKBs. Morphling is also, he did have it queued up, but it looks like he's actually going for a Diffusal next.
You can see a replay on this once more. Again, sort of the issue when Somnus is enabled in terms of being able to just run rampant around the fights as he did, getting that triple kill. And Anna does a very good job, of course, of picking some kills up in return. But at the end of the day, the Bloodseeker is just too strong at this stage of the game, and if they cannot burst him, get that jump on him to start the fight off.
He took out half of No-Tail's health in one hit.
They go. FY looking to lead him pretty deep here with the snowball onto Thompson. Chalice jumps forward as well. They're trying to burst him, but Thompson gets the Tornado, the MP out as well, but Chalice is already there with the primal split. So he can stand his ground and finish off the Invoker.
Next couple of minutes, that would be a good time for them to fight. I think without the Brewmaster there, the Cyclone, the Axe, I think that Seb will be able to destroy them in the fight. So this is a pretty good window for them if they want to try and force an objective. I'm still curious about that Diffusal pickup on the Morphling. I guess maybe he's planning on replicating into the Phantom Laser for a lot of these fights.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very quick snowball by FY. FY actually has a Blink Dagger finished up on himself, so they actually have a pretty good way to counter that Axe call now in the fights for LGD. But right now, without Primal Split down, I do think it is OG's time to try to make some moves and capitalize on LGD while they're split up.
Got to try and find that Blink call before the BKB is popped by Somnus. He is ready with it. Getting space down bottom, only Arme down here to keep tabs on him. A very close game, 21 to 19, 21 minutes in. Less than a 1k advantage for OG. As they did get ahead after recovering the lanes, but now PSG LGD catching back up.
They're starting on Roche right now. It's not the easiest Roche, but No-Tail does have the Medallion of Courage, but yeah, they use the Brewmaster ulti to secure their overkill, but if you're trading that for an Aegis, I think that's well worth it for OG, but certainly LGD aren't going to let it go down without a fight.
OG will jump in, they get the call onto X-Nova, the EMP down as well as Thompson moves him the combo. X-Nova does get the heal off, and he's able to back away. Now starts throwing impetus in onto Seb. The Tornado is going to be blocked off by Somnus. With the BKB, another call comes out from Seb. The Sunstrike from Thompson did find the kill on X-Nova. The send back on Seb, keeping him safe. Seb back to base, TP's back towards the shrine immediately. As OG, they remember up and Anna. He's on top of Somnus. The BKB, of course, now one off, and they'll find Somnus as well. A double kill for Thompson as OG take a successful fight around the pit. They're at a 74% win probability now on Dota Plus. As OG, with those kills, go back towards the Roshan. There's a regen room waiting here for them as well. As this Roche will go their way. And OG regaining that lead that they created.
I love how adamant Seb was about just making the fight happen, right? They know the Primal Split is down. They saw Morphling down bottom, Split pushing too, so they're like, we have to make a fight happen so that they can't actually zone us out of this Roche pit in this time when we've got our window. LGD, they're just very dependent on this Primal Split steal here for the fights. as it looks like it's going to be Radiance, as we were mentioning earlier, for Chalice to deal with that PL illusions.
Yeah, Thompson's more than online now with that axe. It's been up for a couple minutes. Axe also going for that Shadow Blade so he can get more pickoffs around the map. I mean, BKB is not super great versus the Axe, so that's one of my primary concerns towards the LGD. Especially if you have Blood Rage on you. That's a scary part if you're Somnus.
So, as you say, I'll be interested to see how this works out for the Morphling. With the Diffusal Blade complete, not something that we see every day, but sort of, as you theory-crafted, Ben, something that maybe he's looking to utilize in the fights when he takes over, sort of control of becoming the Phantom.
That's the best reason I can think of.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I can see. That's a very good call back.
I mean, it's also good for him to try and eliminate the IO early on. He doesn't have a Glimmer Cape, but it's still going to be pretty tough with this Morphling. Especially with that BKB. He's very susceptible to the Invoker.
It can also allow him like set up some kills alone, right? If he does find anybody straggling around in the side lanes, he can pick them off with that Diffusal easily.
They're hunting. Waveform TP keeps Arme safe. He's out of the jungle.
Yep, now the Shadow Blade is going to be complete on Seb, and I think the Manta Style is also coming out for Phantom Lancer, so 2 big items, and with his Aegis, this is their time to shine. It doesn't even matter if Brewmaster has his ultimate. I don't think they're strong enough to take him out right now, so yeah, just need to stall for a little bit, wait for that Radiance, get your farm up, maybe get a BKB up on the Morphling, and then you'll be in fighting shape.
Yeah, cutting into OG just seems way too difficult, especially with Jerax, who's now level 15, has the tethered Axe bonus, and also has a full mech. So that's going to counteract a lot of the damage that LGD is already lacking in their fights right now.
So definitely just don't want to fight. They have very good wards set up on the side of LGD. They have 4 spread out throughout the map, and unless OG are willing to commit a couple of smokes, I don't see them getting any huge pickoffs right here or huge objectives after a fight.
OG's got good momentum pushing in on every single lane. We even have the Axe illusions cutting some waves too. So all 3 lanes pushing in onto LGD's side right now. As OG, they're spamming those chat wheels. They're getting into it now.
Feeling good.
Feeling it. Absolutely. Another tower taken by OG.
Oh, Seb is on the prowl immediately too.
Wow. How did? Oh, they have a Road Reward over there. I was wondering how he saw that coming.
So yeah, takes the morph duration as well on that Morphling, as we've been seeing a lot of players. Well, the few players that do play Morphling still have been doing. Full Manta, Diffusal, and that Aegis on Ana. He is feeling very confident. He commits forward onto X-Nova.
With the Sunstrike down, it doesn't matter. They are going to be able to juke it out here with the Snowball. Ana still trying to fight forward. He's feeling confident with the Aegis. Tornado will clip onto X-Nova, but he's got the heal out and he'll be fine. Ana has been ruptured now. Needs the backup. Jerax in with the tether. Ana with the Doppelganger dodging the Blood Bright. As OG will be more than fine.
There's so much burst steel coming out.
Yeah.
With the tether in the Hand of God and then the mech.
I'm looking for another tier 2 tower. OG really starting to overtake the map. Bottom lane set. He's in. The call. There's no attribute shift in time. Arme can't react with that Shadow Blade blink initiation.
Power of that Blade Mail versus the Morphling, but also he was hit by that huge Sunstrike that's so early on.
He has no buyback here, so OG.
Uh-oh.
Let's see if they can get anything more out of this one as they're into the base, chasing down X-Nova. X-Nova being focused by Ana. The Illusion Army chasing him down, trapping him here in the trees as he'll fall. OG, they've found 2. They're up onto the high ground looking at this tier 3 tower.
And look at this, they even used the Axe tether on the Chen, so there's a Chen Ancient there adding more health for them.
Oh, look at this push they've got going. As the Rax now to a Chalice, jumps in, does get the Primal Split out, finds Jerax. Jerax is gone, FY goes in with the uppercut. Ana trying to clean out some of these Primal Split illusions as Jerax will buy back. He's coming in with a relocate, Seb, being focused, but they're killing the Primal Split. It's only just down to the up of the Wind Panda getting himself away from the fighters. He will still survive, but they've got the vision. Can he escape in time? Chalice! Oh! Nearly dies during the Primal Split, but Chalice will survive. OG, what's the plan now? Do they want to just get out of here? Seb trying to get in position with his Shadow Blade. He's found Arme. Arme's in the peel of the moment as Arme just gets taken down. Dead for 50 seconds. Thompson being chased by Summoners. They've got the dust down Thompson as well. X-Nova picked up inside of the snowball. Thompson will fall. They'll find Ana too as LGD will hold despite Arme going down once again. Can they get Seb as well? Jax is there at the side, but he does not have relocate available. There's no save for Seb.
Did he just hold that snowball until the Aegis finished?
Yeah.
What?
He waited that whole time for it to get. That
crazy. That is unbelievable.
Oh my god.
And effectively, at the end of the day, a full team wipe there by PSG LGD. X-Nova, he'll survive as well. They hold that middle lane. They may have lost to tier 3, but they keep those racks alive.
The
push OG back.
Coming in from Chalice and FY there. FY with the clutch snowball play there on that Aegis, of course. And Chalice, look at the damage he did in that fight. 6,600 because of that Radiance. Like you said, they were killing the Primal Split. The Primal
so close to killing it.
There was still one alive, so each time you kill one, the Radiance just keeps passing along to the next one over and over again. So he just keeps dealing all that damage in the fight.
I can't believe he survived.
I can't. Yeah, I mean, he's just so close to dying. What a turnaround by LGD, as it was a 7,500 gold lead for OG there, chunked down all the way to 2K, and the experience is now favoring LGD.
And they had a different way of dealing with Axe this time, which was rupture and just kind of leave him alone. He didn't really want to run around. He's not that tanky, especially when the Wisp is tethering up someone else. But this defusal choice, he got wrecked.
Yeah, he did. I'm struggling.
I mean, you can understand, as you say, he wants to try and fight as the PL, but that, of course, leaves him very vulnerable to getting caught out by Seb's cool initiation.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think if PL were like the trump card in this game, with no Axe and with very little AoE on the side of OG, it would have been a great choice. This time, I mean, there's not that many great items for him. I'm not really a big fan of BKB on him at this point in the game, but he does need to be able to not die with 1,000 HP.
I think he just stays morphed up very, very high strength and then jump into the fights, turn to the PL, and then that's when he can just thrive off of it, because if he's staying low, like you said, he just dies over and over again to the call, blade mill, or even just some Sunstrike that can come out.
Smoke action. Here's LGD, wrap around along the river.
They've got level 18 on the brew, so level 3 Primal Split at the ready. Chalice on the high ground.
OG got that ward down in time, and that's going to set up for Seb to find the jump. FY comes in with the snowball save. Keeps his team alive for now. They're rolling to Seb. Seb gets the blade, but now turns toward Chalice. Chalice, he gets the split off. Seb, he's got now. Jerax now focused as well by PSG LGD. They'll get the two of them. Seb's brought back. The chase for Softness onto No-Tail into the trees. Sets up for a double kill on the Bloodseeker, and Seb, he's been set up into the skies by Chalice's Cyclone. Seb gets the blink off. He's got the Shadow Blade too, but they've already lost 3 on OG. The dust is out. It will clip Seb. They've got the stun control from the Mud Golem, stopping Chalice getting the blink through. As Seb will just escape there. FY with that save.
That's the snowball play. Chalice even got cold snapped, but just having that extra miss rate, he actually doesn't get that other one blocking on him, so he's able to get the Primal Split off. Unbelievable.
Every single team fight, FY and Chalice are just doing so much in terms of control.
Yeah, Thompson tried his best to stop that split from going off. Yeah. He realized exactly what was that was crazy.
Unreal.
That's 2 times Brewmaster has just narrowly escaped death. They were sitting right on top of Reserve Reward. That was a double call coming out from Seb to start the fight. They thought that they had that one in the bag.
Yeah, it looked like the perfect initiation, right? But FY is just like, nope. That's why we have the Tusk. Those snowball saves, as we mentioned.
And now he has a Yules too. And this Yules is excellent versus the Axe. So this fight.
Let's look at this beauty. Look at this beauty.
It looked perfect, but FY in with that save, taking them out of the combo. Thompson, it just set up for the follow-up. And again, as always, Chalice getting that split off just in time. And at that point, it was pretty much impossible for OG to take the fight back around in their favor. You see Seb buy back straight away, but he's already losing the rest of his team.
It looks like he didn't even have vision on maybe there. He was shadow bladed up and was still able to get the call out on him. Just needed a tiny bit more burst.
And immediately, because of that play as well, you see PSG LGD dewarding that area of the map.
Dewarding their whole side of the map even. They're just like, we do not want this Axe with Shadow Blade to get peck anyone off. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 9, 10 sentries placed around? X-Nova is like, I have treads, I'm happy. I will buy sentries and observers.
That guy does not mess around. He still does a fair amount of damage too. He does. His treads.
I mean, he can also just even enchant a PL illusion. He can start his own army going in a lot of these fights too. We haven't seen happen too much, but
they're trying really hard to kill these ancient creeps, but
it gets out in time. The dragon. It's bottom. They want to fight this. They've found FY. Seb looking to close the gap. The Sunstrike's down, but it's off the point. They'll still get the call off though, dragging FY back into the clutches of them as they find the Tusk.
It's still going to be tough for Seb, though. I think the Tusk was looking for enough gold to buy Shadow Blade. He's already very farmed. This Yule's is pretty much a mandatory BKB call coming out from Max now. When he started the fight, forget about the snowball.
Seb.
Yeah, I mean they need that BKB on the Axe now so that he doesn't get disabled before he gets those jumps off.
But even if he has a BKB, they can still get snowballed. It's really hard for Seb right now, especially if FY continues to play the way he has been.
I think they have to find a way to get the backline. They have to find this Tusk in these fights while they do the initiation at the same time as the Axe. I think it's up to Topson to really find that opportunity. It's very tough for him, though. Him and the PL have to try to cause some distraction so Seb can get that call off successfully.
Looks like Tusk is actually, he's swapped up his build. He wants to go for an Aeon Disc as opposed to that Shadow Blade that he just had on quick buy. Maybe just thinking along the same that you were, Fog. If they jump him, it might be over.
Yeah, this is going to be able to dispel it, and he's going to be able to still go for that opportunity, too. Once that Aeon Disc procs, he can even get the blink off afterwards if they can't deal damage to him in time. Since he can't take damage during Aeon Disc.
I mean, as this game does go on, I mean, we're already at the 33-minute mark at the moment. Does one sort of lineup come out ahead in the late game in sort of your eyes?
It's kind of hard to say because of how much work the Chalice is putting. I'd say probably LGD just because this Brewmaster's had such impeccable performance.
Let's see mid, can they get the jump? Anna's going to show himself. Somnus pokes the Shadow Blade, turns with a rupture. Chalice goes in with the jump, posts the BKB. Starts to punch into Anna, the blood cries down. Anna getting silenced, to be able to man to start it off. Starts to back away, the Stone Strike on X-Nova, but it's off the point. X-Nova will survive. Anna getting focused, Topson trying to come into for the side with the combo, but the snowball again from FY, buying time for Somnus. He looks towards Seb, he just beats into the blade belt. Seb's able to turn and get the kill. There'll be the buyback for the Bloodseeker. Anna trying to hold still, but Chalice, he's got his number. He knows exactly which one he is, Anna. Looking at Doppelganger, does manage to get up to the high ground, but Somnus with the buyback, he's there, ready to claim the kill.
Those two are dead without buyback. They're down for 80 seconds. There's a Roche available too here for LGD.
Topson's immediately
bottom lane's also pushing. Look at this army.
He's got that extra Forge Spirit summoned, and indeed with the Ancient Black Dragon, the Mug Golem, and the Cobalt, they're in. They're pushing in.
Yeah.
They have to bring Chalice down here. He's the only one with the TP on his core heroes. But Topson,
they've got the dust. Topson can play his way out of this FY with the control. Meaning that Jerax cannot save him in time, as Jerax will TP out, No Tail as well,
and
will get away.
Look at Roshan.
PSG, LGD.
Oh,
they'll take the cheat.
There we go.
And Morphling's finally at that area of HP where he's comfortable. He can do a lot of damage and still be relatively tanky and not die on a call. Seb has not been able to get these clean calls. He still does not have his BKB. He's had so many items, but that is the one key one he's been missing.
Just so much disruption being caused in the fights from this Brewmaster. Just every single time, just getting into the front lines, messing with everything LG wants to do.
Absolutely. And he's Shiva's guard closing in. Jump. FY. He's found himself No Tail out on his own.
He's trapped him.
There's No Tail. Is he going to get any sort of backup? No, there's 3 still dead on OG. There'll be a slow and painful death here for No Tail as Arme comes in for the kill secure.
And I love the way that Chalice popped this BKB super early in that fight. He just knows, I just need to get my ulti off. And he cast it at a very safe range. He didn't wait for the last second of his BKB. He's not very greedy. And I think that's a lot of the reason why they've been winning these team fights. And Seb has been struggling, still about 1,000 gold away from his BKB.
Yeah, this Brewmaster is a display of perfection, really. It's the highest level in the game with his Bloodseekers. Yeah.
And doing a ton of damage in these fights. Like one of the most damage in the game as an offlaner.
Dire's bottom tower
now has full Shiva, so even more ways. He's pretty much itemized entirely just to be like, Ana, I'm ruining your game. I've got Radiance, I've got Shivas. You're going to struggle so much in these fights as Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, Jerax did his best to keep Ana alive, and but Ana wasn't able to do damage because he was ruptured. He wasn't that low on HP, but still can't run around.
Oh, Ame's got an invis here.
He
wants
Who
Jerax.
shows up top? Indeed, Jerax. He's going out on his own. He doesn't expect Arme to have this invis route. As Arme will show himself, Jerax goes across, but Somnus is there.
Somnus is not messing around, rupturing there.
No mercy. They're feeling very confident now at this point, getting these very advantageous team fights as well as getting kills on the split push too. Topson though, will fight X-Nova.
Yep, as well. Between the two of them, they'll take down the support edge. FY's going to come in though. He hasn't got anyone else with him at the moment. It is just FY, so just playing around with Seb.
He has no help around at all, and he's still just making Seb's life miserable.
He's just toying with him. He's just making him not be able to come back. Look, they're already starting to rotate this Brewmaster and Bloodseeker too, and FY, he's ready to look for Seb.
Seb's got to get out.
Oh, Seb.
As indeed, FY, the patience, keeping that control on Seb, buying time for Chalice to come in. Ana is going to look towards the tusk. As Chalice is now there, does have Primal Split available if he wants to look to take this fight. Son's coming in as well. As Ana, Seb look to hide in the trees. Can they get out of it? Ana's got a TP available. He's into the trees. He's going to show himself in the lane, though. They're going to continue to head over. They are going to see Seb make it out in time. They don't have a stun. Ana, can he get out as well? He can. OG will avoid that rotation from PSG LGD.
FY is just so obnoxious there, following Seb for over a minute, just stalking him, trying to have his team come over.
So that's about, a minute without Aegis being used for LGD. They have 2 minutes left, I would say, to capitalize on this Aegis. Ame looks like he is loving the PL.
Whoa. Pretty much back to a 50-50. PSG LGD 2-1 up at the moment in this best of 5 grand finals. 1 game needed to secure the championship title. And at this point, they are ahead here in game 4.
No-Tail hasn't had time to gather a full army of Ancient Creeps. Right now, he just had the Ancient Black Dragon. You really want those other auras when you're at a big disadvantage in these team fights already.
Yeah, it's tough though, because Jerax doesn't want to be following around his Chen, giving him the acronym, so. As Thompson looks, he does have a Lincoln Sphere picked up, and they should have the BKB finished on Seb too. So that'll give him a little bit easier time to get those Blink Calls as he's been suffering to do so in the last few fights. And Somnus, full Ive Scotty picked up, about to be level 25 as well.
Yeah, they just need a couple more minutes on the side of OG before they're ready to fight. Wait for an Aegis to expire.
Seb, he's in, gets the call, the Cataclysm, but again FY, he's there with the snowball save. He's going to be fine, and now they turn to look towards the axe. The taunt's going to be out. Seb goes for the TP. They've got the stun to cancel. Seb held back for now. Thompson trying to offer his best from the side to provide some sort of safety, as he will get Seb back. They're able to get Seb back to safety, and Thompson, he's running away. X-Nova there with the wraparound, gets the slow off, gives the vision for the snowball. TP from No-Tail's coming in towards the stride, but Thompson, he's trapped.
That's twice in the series that X-Nova just comes out of nowhere. Like, he's just on a warding expedition, then he just ends up wrapping behind these people constantly.
Perfect time.
Perfect timing, and has the Centaur creep to boot. And look at these deep wards that he's placed during that time. Then he was running around doing so. He now has full vision of OG. He sees Ana farming these Ancients right now.
Oh, Ana. FY just giving so much information for the team. He's got eyes on him. Get the punch on the wrong target, but the snowball pass will catch Ana. Ana, he's in trouble. The Blood Bright Silence connects. He's got the Manta back up in a second, but can he really play his way out of this one? He cannot. Ana down for a minute and a half.
Just having all this vision. I mean, X-Nova throughout this whole tournament has had the best vision in every situation, even when you wouldn't expect it. They're just like, oh, they're fighting on the left side. They're not going to have vision over here. But no, X-Nova always seems to have those prepared in every situation.
And he has some incredible foresight to be able to have these wars that just lead to really clutch pickoffs. And Axe has not spent his money on BKB. He has the money, but he might be looking to save for buyback.
We'll see if any of the buybacks do get forced out. Thompson's still dead for 15. Ideally, he doesn't buy back it. They may have to buy back on Ana. He's gone for 50 seconds. The split coming out from Chalice. He's ready to push in, look for the stun on No-Tail to hold back the Chen as the mid-racks are exposed. PSG LGD, 40 minutes in, able to open into the base and clean out this mid lane of racks. Still Ana holding on to that buyback.
And they're going to keep going here. They really want to force this PL to come back here.
Stun onto Thompson. He will blink dodge it. Another tier 3 tower falling incredibly fast. They really don't want to use it. Seb jumps in, gets the call onto FY. There's the buyback. The Cataclysm isn't enough to do anything. It isn't. PSG LGD still fighting strong. Thompson getting focused by Somnus. Seb taken down by Arme. The triple buyback's now out as Ana in trouble. He's pulled back for this one. The deafening blast. One of the 3 of them knocks them back, but Ana gets focused. Seb! He's in with the call. He has the control onto the morphing Somnus. Now being chased by Thompson. Blinks in with the cold snap. The PL army's on top of it. They get Somnus too. As OG, they have to expend 3 buybacks, but they hold on to the top rack. Somnus now down for 2 minutes. No buyback available on this Bloodseeker.
Yeah, he's 400 gold short of it. It's up in about 8 seconds. OG, they have to make so much happen here. They have to push out all their lanes. 2 of the side lanes are already gone, but I think trying to get some kills here, like on FY here, would be very ideal.
I mean, look how close the Brew is at 25. I mean,
so close.
With that Primal Split cooldown.
Oh, Thompson, he sees it FY. He's used the snowball, he turns with the combo FY with the self-heals, but OG, they've surrounded him. Seb jumps in with the call, the blade mail, FY's gone.
Instant buyback from FY.
Still that scary, scary time for LGD. 75 seconds without Somnus. OG have the full 5-man pushing in all 3 lanes at the same time as they approach LGD's base.
I don't even know if I give the edge in this team fight. I mean, LGD are up in goal, but no blood take up for 60 seconds. This could be disastrous.
Got a full BKB on Seb as well.
Chalice really wants to hit level 25 before he pops that primal split. So close.
Just got to be careful, Seb. Looking for that blink initiation.
Chalice is stepping back. Grabs. They give him the tome. He needed like 5 experience, and they gave him the tome just to make sure that he gets it anyway. Just playing as safe as possible here.
Looks like OG don't feel that the window is big enough for them to push in whilst this Bloodseeker's still dead. They're back away.
They can't count. They bought back 3 heroes. They weren't able to get any T3s, and there's no Roshan up yet. Big Daddy No Tail's praying for a Roche right now so they can get that refresher, but it's not going to be up. And maybe will dodge a bullet.
At least they got a good amount of economy off that, right? It was up to a 15k gold advantage. They chunked it down to 7. Same thing with the experience. So they did get quite a lot out of that one, but they ideally wanted to get at least one of those sets of racks to get some momentum pushing in with those 3 buybacks used.
Absolutely, it is this really scary moment of the game now for OG. We're about 5-6 minutes still without those buybacks available. If PSG LGD can find that one team fight, it could be the team fight to win TI in this window of time that they now have presented to themselves.
Ana's gone full in for that butterfly too, as they pick up also an Aeon disc on Jarek, so protected. And DD did spawn, however, was killed by 4 spirits.
It's also pretty scary for Maybe right now. He only has a 5-second BKB, and he does a lot of damage and will get wrecked by the X-Blade Mail call if he finds them, especially with his BKB now. There's not that many ways to stop him.
Invisibility.
It's just all about FY and Chalice, right? Just either saving or just getting into the midst of the fights and not allowing OG to get the picks that they want.
It's going to be dispelled.
Does get dispelled, but they see Ana.
He's in the trees. They're on the high ground. They've got the vision with the Shiva's covered. Ana's on his way over. They've got the snowball down. There's the counterplay. Seb jumps in. He's able to fight the call onto Chalice, but Chalice already got the BKB out. The Sunstrike's going to be down onto FY, but FY will survive. Seb puts the BKB. He'll try and stand his grab, but Seb, he's going to go down. No buyback on the axe.
And now
Jarex as well, surrounded by PSG LGD. The Eon disc will proc, but they'll fight through it.
He has to buy back immediately.
Look at these creep track by these 4 spirits. On the bottom rune, they have no creeps in the mid lane.
Sienna still holding on to that buyback on Jarex. But as Ben said, the creeps aren't here.
It's backdoor. Can they breach through it? It's not looking like it right now. Maybe with everyone hitting the same one.
That creep cutting isn't enough to hold OG in the game.
You see No Tail's already running to just, he doesn't care. He's going to throw his life for this one. He needs to just keep these creeps out of the base to keep that back door up. He doesn't care if he dies.
Which he certainly will. As they get upon him, they find his life. 1 minute now without No Tail and without Seb. Thompson, Ana, and Jarex. The only 3 heroes that can offer their defense during this final minute, this final stand.
Jarex is really trying to hold on to his buyback.
As Chalice split, of course, up once again. They're finishing off this second set of racks. He's got the Cyclone holding Ana up in the skies. As this rack's on the top lane will fall, the melee rack's gone. PSG LGD playing this carefully. As they'll go down towards the bottom as well. Arme, doppelgangers. He's losing a fair bit of mana into the PL. They're still able to shift back into that Morphling if needs be. As OG, they will lose that top racks, but they won't lose the game. PSG LGD are playing it safe. They know how close they are to victory, and they will not throw it away.
And they know that the Roche is probably respawning pretty soon, and it actually is up, so that is that refresher shard. They already have pretty much infinite primal splits up anyway, but they feel very confident here.
They weren't able to deward that ward in the mid lane, so it looks like they are going for a Roche fake out.
Ana is on top of X-Nova. Ghost Seb's going to be the other set. He's in. The call, the EMP, the cannonball, and FY is in. He's able to get the save off in time to keep this man alive. Chalice is down. Buyback from X-Nova and Chalice. FY with the Invis. Somnus looking to get involved. Post the BKB to get over the ice roll. They get on top of Seb. Seb's in trouble. Seb's gone. The axe down once again for 90 seconds. There's now FY giving them the vision, but they see him. Got the doppelganger to jump away from the snowball over to Thompson, the self-fuels. FY trying to buy time for the rest of LGD to come in. Again, up into the air. Arme straight on top of Notel. FY will fall. Arme looking towards Notel. Notel puts the hand of God, but Notel beaten down by Arme and Somnus. Chalice gets the primal split off Azana. He's been left behind in Thompson. He's got to do something incredible in terms of the combo. Can he find the angle? Jerax coming in, keeping Anna alive. Anna with the doppelganger. The deafening blast comes down onto the two of them. Anna trying to go in, looking for the kill. Can he find it in time onto X-Nova? He's on top of him, trying to beat him down. Anna again with the doppelganger, now retreating back towards the base. As X-Nova will survive. Jerax back in, the combo. Meatball down onto Chalice, but Chalice is so tanky. Monster Shiva's gone. He's on top of Jerax. Jerax is gone. Anna as well. Can he really fight back against the Somnus? And X-Nova is so low. As the buyback for Jerax comes in, he's healing Anna back up. That buyback could set them up for the kill on X-Nova. The cold snap down onto the adjust, they find him. Arme, he's out of mana. He's starting to shift into the straight, but he's surrounded. OG, can they find the ball? They can! OG are still in the game. Arme buys back immediately. But now it's PSG LGD's turn to be without two of their supports. Seb's going to be back up in 8 seconds.
Oh my god, that buyback from Jerax onto that shrine, being able to save Ana, but Ana also toying with them with that doppel. He sent the illusion. They thought that was the real one. They actually couldn't finish him off, even though they got the thirst vision of him for a second.
With the level 25 talent on the doppelganger, it's really hard to kill him.
Seb.
Yeah.
He's looking straight for the play. Can he find Somnus? He's hunting. Somnus. He's there, Seb. He'll see him. Oh! Doesn't get the call, though, and now Seb. He'll be ruptured. They're looking at him, but Anna, he's straight in on top of Somnus. Somnus supposed to be BKB. Anna again with the doppelganger. There's a Cataclysm coming out. And Somnus still alive. Anna will be able to force him away. They've got the hex. They've got the control. They're on top of him. Can they kill him in time? They can. Chalice gone for 2 minutes. As Seb, he's finding, looking for Arme. Big Daddy Notel gets the penitence out. Only onto the illusion, though. Arme able to waveform up to the high ground. It's Arme. Should be fine here.
Thompson's got the ghost strike. He's got Hex up soon, too.
Oh, the doppelganger Arme's over the trees. Can he hide his way out of this?
No, Finds the real one.
Goes for the waveform. Seb tries for the call, but he's already out of there. Nice, nice play from Arme.
And he buys so much time, too, for his team there. The Brewmaster was dead for 120 seconds, now only 90.
Still a big window for OG. They're only without Jerax for the same amount of time. And that lead the PSG LGD had, it is going down a little bit. Only 4K, 5K at the moment with these last few fights. Obviously, the 25s now coming out on OG. Thompson's into the pit.
What a timely DD coming out for him, too. I don't think they expected to be taken down this fast. He's almost able to solo it with the help of these summons. And that's a refresher shard. There's no way to get this. There's no way LGD can contest.
Oh, and the Seb level 25 too. That extra Berserker's Call AoE. It catches people out. They don't expect it.
It does not feel like OG are 2 racks down.
Yeah. The Berserker's Call now is, I mean, the AoE is really massive now when you have that talent.
It's so hard to play against. Can PSG LGD do it? They've got the Basher now for Somnus. But just a 2K lead with those last big comeback plays from OG. Still 30 seconds without Chalice.
It's double Hex coming out now for Thompson, and these 5-second BKBs, I mean, they were crushing with their BKBs.
Thompson's being spotted out.
Got the vision. They're on top of him. Thompson, he's in trouble. The Nullify comes up. He got the Ghost Walk off as well as the Hex in time. Now, Somnus turns up. The blood runs down. Thompson! He's dead for 100. Has got the buyback available. PSG LGD will certainly look to force it out of him.
FY just with a Shadow Blade. It just, yeah, as soon as they split up, he finds the perfect opportunity there on Thompson.
You got to be careful going out on the map when FY's alive. There's every chance in the world that he's going to be watching you from the trees.
And at this point, I think for Ame, it's actually going to be very worth it for him to actually just try and burn all the mana from the Phantom Lancer, so he can't doppelganger all the time. That's causing huge issues in the team fights. And I see that Chalice is using his Dispel Magic every single cooldown on these Phantom Lancer illusions, but there's still way too many in there causing havoc in these team fights.
It's too constant. Like that doppel cooldown being 3 seconds just allows him to always be able to play around a little bit around the brew. they don't really have this crazy AoE when you look at LGD's lineup to just clear out those illusions. It's really a lot based off them just trickling them down slowly with like the Shivas and the Radiance and knowing exactly which one it is.
Yep, he doesn't have the crit talent, but now he does have crit from that Bloodthorn coming out.
It's a lot of damage that Anna can offer to the fights now.
And Brewmaster without BKB, very vulnerable. Cold Snap, Bloodthorn, Berserker's Call. There's a lot of ways that they can prevent him from getting that ult off.
He just commits it from the back, just to be careful.
Make sure that he can get it off and get some damage in onto the tier 3s. Anna's going to start to try and fight against these Primal Split Brewlings. He'll be able to find one of them. He has been silenced. He'll take down the Wind Panda 2 as well by the looks of it. As only the Earth Panda prevails. Seb jumps and he gets the call onto the Panda, popping the BKB as well, so they won't kill the Brewlings off. They do force PSG LGD away long enough that Topson does not have to expend his buyback. It's Topson back in the game.
But then they're utilizing the PL very well too, by replicating him, sending illusions to get some extra damage on the tower. It's just one Rax left that's holding LGD away from Mega Creeps.
They're straight out. They're ready with the aggressive play, OG. Topson, can he find a catch? He's close to having vision onto X-Nova.
Should be able to find X-Nova here. He is stalking him. He got sights of him for a second. He seems a bit far away though.
Oh, the tornado. It's got him. Topson drops the combo down upon him. The stun comes out though. Oh, the counterplay. Jax is there though with the heal, the tether. Keeping Topson alive with the Abyssal Blade down. Can they save the hand of God comes through? Topson still alive, but Chalice gets the Primal Split out. He's been stunned. Topson, the cheese, he's fine. Topson, he goes down. They get the kill onto the Evoker. No tell. Being chased by Arme. The bash is coming through, but the Blade Mail was already out from Seb. He tries to get the call off. The bash of the Cataclysm isn't enough to find the kills. Anna leading forward. The Bloodthorn onto FY. Gets the kill onto FY. FY buys back straight away. Anna looking towards Somnus again with the doppelganger. Arme on top of Topson. Topson being saved by Jax. Jax with the tether. Arme turns into Rodera. There's the call. Seb, he catches Arme. Arme dead for 2 minutes. The Hags. They've got Somnus as well. Oh, gee. Double kill for Seb. The clutch buybacks coming into play. Nobody has a buyback available right now. As OG stand with 5 alive on the map. 100 seconds without the Morphling.
This Doppel talent is just destroying LGD. They have no way to actually find Ana. Like Ben said, the Brewmaster is constantly using the Dispel, but it's so hard to find the real PL amongst all these illusions and all this chaos of the fights with tornadoes and chaos meters and everything falling all over the place.
And look at this. The tier 3 tower falling. Anna frontlining it all. What's he scared of? The Bloodbright will come out. Chalice with the Shiva's Guard trying to initiate. But Anna, he's poking, prodding, beating down, and on the side, Topson jumps in. Chalice gets in with the BKB with the call. Seb, he's got the disable to Chalice. Do they have the damage? They come up with the Chalice. He's into the snowball. FY buying time for him, but now he's vulnerable. He's gets Hex. He gets Bloodthorn. Chalice plays back. Straight back into the game. Anna trying to find his attention onto X-Nova. Chalice leading forward. The Tornado going to be off the market. Only catches out the Bloodseeker, but Seb, he's looking for the follow-up. Jumps in, gets the call. The BKB was out of time. Anna's on top of it. Did they have the Seb's going to blame on FY with the snowball again. Topson, Jax focusing the Rags. Topson gets the Hex up onto X-Nova. Seb healed up by Jax. Anna still full health at the moment as the Brewlings are pushed back to the base. OG get the bottom melee Rax. As still 30 seconds to play without the Morphling in the game. They move towards the mid lane. OG, can they really get it all here? The mid rack's falling. They've taken a full second. Says 15 painful seconds for LGD.
They're going to keep going. They want to claim their megas.
Another tier 3 falls. OG onto the final set of racks that LGD have left standing. Azana, he gets kicked back. He's separated from the team. He has the double ganger. He's been ruptured. He needs help, but he needs it now. Jarek in with the tap of the hand of God. Give him that double heal. The relocate as well. Jarek gets him out. As OG will successfully disengage before that Morphling's back in, as they found both racks. Jerax will die for this one, almost certainly, as he looks to tether across, but a nullifies upon him. He has buyback though, and OG just took so much away from PSG LGD, as they only have a lone range rack standing on the top lane.
I can't believe it's come to this. There's only 3 racks left in this game, and one of them is a range racks on the side of LGD. Buyback status. I saw X that was buyback. It was only like 600 or 700, yeah, which is crazy. But Jerax also kind of in that same net worth territory, looking at a very cheap buyback. But 2 in the game left, IO and the PL. PL is almost unkillable at this point. Like, even without the Wisp, it's still really difficult. With the Wisp, just don't even try.
We'll see this again.
It seems
a save here from Jerax.
The control is just not there, and they don't have the way to kill all these illusions constantly. And of course, look at Jerax coming in, starts that relocate channel, and is able to get it off. No one gets the control on him.
Keeping it cool at the time that it means the most, but he's still able to crack a smile here in Game 4 of the TI8 Grand Finals. OG making a stand, now leading 9K advantage in net worth.
Patience from Zoe. Patience from Zoe.
LD able to join us.
Patience from Zoe.
I don't believe they actually have any force staffs on the side of LGD. That's generally how you deal with a Scythe of Vice, and I think they can get a Scythe of Vice on the core, get a blink call, and that hero is likely dead without buyback at this point. So OG, I would say, definitely favorite at this point in the game, especially with PL having buyback. LGD, they have a couple minutes to think about what they want to do before this next Roshan.
Yeah, they can't be totally reliant on FY just getting these perfect snowball saves, or even like I saw in the last fight too when it was down bottom. He even tried like walrus kicking the IO away from when he was tethered from somebody else. They need to find some other ways to be able to save, in particular that Brewmaster, who just time and time again is the most important hero, it does seem, for LGD.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what they do with the Blink BKB call. The Snowball is the only thing, but they have Bloodthorns, they have Scythe of Vice for the Tusk, they have a lot of things available. Maybe Aeon Disc perhaps for the Brewmaster. I'm not exactly sure what the best way for him to deal with it is. It looks like he is going for an Octarine perhaps for almost permanent.
The sentry's down though. Facing Thompson, but Thompson, he's already quick with the play. The Tornado into EMP, Cold Snap as well, they've got the Hex, but there won't be any further jumping.
Radiant's top barracks are under.
They're going for top, they're trying to make space.
They got the Mega Creeps.
That's the distraction play right there.
Up against the Mega Creeps. PSG LGD, it's what stands between them and the championship title here in Game 4.
And they got it right before that wave, before that 59-minute mark too, so we already have the Mega Creep wave coming in, that momentum pushing onto LGD's side.
And you look at their lineup, can PSG LGD's heroes deal with the Mega Creeps? It's hard. They don't really have that sort of incredible D-push or AoE sort of hard hitters to deal with it.
That's kind of what they've been lacking in a lot of this game, right? That's what we've been talking about with the illusions with the PL. They've got ways to find them or ways to kill them if they find the exact one, but as for doing that, it's very tough when they don't have just the Dispel from Chalice.
And he does too much damage to ignore at this point with the Bloodthorn. And on top of that, Roshan is going to respawn in about 1 minute's time. LGD, I think their buybacks are going to cool down around that time, but I just don't think they can withstand this onslaught from OG. And they really want to be able to defend this Roshan, but it's super obvious when there's Mega Creeps. With Mega Creeps, that's the luxury that you have. You can just wait a couple of seconds. You know, the creeps will be hitting at your T4s if you wait.
As Ana commits forward. Has no boots, but a full Eye of Scotty. 3,800 health now on this PL, who hasn't been dying for a very long time. Now he's got easier ways, easier kill opportunity, and much more survivability.
Yeah, he probably has like maybe 7,000, 8,000 HP effective with the Butterfly Evasion and the heal and the Overcharge and the Hand of God. It's just way too much. And the lifesteal from Chen too. There's another ability.
OG clearing out the pit. Very, very soon to be spawning Roshan, and PSG LGD are well aware.
Roshan's up. It looks like only OG knows right now.
Arme,
PL battle.
Indeed, some illusion action. Arme's going to get caught out by the Tornado, though. They've opened up onto him. Arme trying to get on top of Ana. The BKB popped by Chalice. He'll get the ult out. No-Tail getting gone out straight away by F5 with the snowball. No-Tail's dead for 100. They'll get the Chen. Ana, in the midst of it, trying to lock down onto FY. The rest of his team about to come over to get the Tornado. Out onto X over Sam. Looking for the cool control onto Arme. Has he got it? Arme getting stood up by the cold snap, but he's able to wait for him up the high ground. Thompson blinks in. He gets the Hex out with F5 with a snowball save. They get the bash out. Sonus will be able to find the IO, but they're fully low LGD. That Sonus dead for 2 minutes. They get Thompson. Thompson dead for 2 minutes. Only Ana. Ana, can he do it here? He's at half health. Sam gets the call. He gets the call of his lifetime. As 3 dead now on LGD, no buyback. Sep will fall. Ana kept alive at the back of that fight. As that very much looked like PSG LGD were able to tip OG over the edge, but that plus 100 Berserker score, you could see Seb as well being very careful with how he used it, keeping it to that opportune moment after any potential sort of Manta dodges have been done by Thomas Arme, and he gets the call.
9 doppelgangers used just in that area around the Ancients from the PL. Just the constant barrage of illusions giving that distraction to allow Seb to get that call off.
That's another Roshan for OG.
These fights have to be so hectic for the players. There's like 30 PLs.
There's just both sides. I mean, even the Enchantress is like taking a PL, and then the Morphling turns into PL.
I'm just impressed we haven't had any frame drops. You know?
It's true.
Azana. Down the middle lane.
Just walking down with a DD.
The tier 4s. Anna said he's done with this. He wants to end this game. The buyback will come out from FY. Anna. It's going to be snowballed. Anna. He's in. He's not got any backup on the way. FY will be able to get out with the invis, but this doppelganger just over and over again, meaning that Anna could just stand in. Now he's got the backup of Jerax's eye. The Hex. He gets Hex. Oh, he didn't expect it. He didn't expect the Hex, but he's still fine. Jerax had the Odis, but X Nova into the snowball. They'll turn towards Jerax. The Hanagon coming out. Jerax has been nullified. They hear doppelganger once again. X Nova. He will survive for now. But buybacks were forced out by that aggressive play from Anna. At the same time, Seb did buyback himself on the axe. But LGD are back up as a full 5-man.
Jesus, this is insane.
I mean, Anna was super safe there. I'm not exactly sure why I said buyback, but I mean, he has heart, he has a Wisp behind him, he has Aegis, he has everything. His buyback.
And as you can see there, that is the big difference. There are 4 buybacks available on OG. Only 1 available for LGD. Oh.
Just all this momentum pushing in. And an Arcane Rune up top. If they give that to Anna, oh my god. Even more illusions, even more doppels.
Oh.
Let's go.
That is
a 2.1 second cooldown.
2.1 second cooldown.
Oh man.
Okay. Azana.
This is it.
He's ready to put it to use. Straight into the base he goes, doppling forward, he gets the jump onto X-Nova, the Ghost Scepter keeping X-Nova fine for now. Anna looking to turn his commitment towards Arme, Thompson comes in with a Deafening Blast from the side, the EMP finishes X-Nova off, he's dead for 110, Seb, pots the BKB, looks for the cool control onto FY, but FY does get the snowball off in time. Arme looking on top of Jarrett, but Thompson turns, they get the Hex out, onto him, he'll get himself back into the ball, the BKB down in time as Arme cuts down no-tail with a waveform, finds the kill. Anna looking to get on top of Arme, the BKB's about to wear off, the Mega Creeps beating down upon the edge of the LG. Seb in again. The call on top of Arme. Arme dead for 2 minutes. And Chalice, BKB bot. He's trying to commit, trying to deal with Anna being silenced by the blood right. But the engine is falling. The Hex is out. They're going to be able to find themselves. Chalice 3 down on LGD. OG hitting the ancient. Hitting the ancient. We're going to a game 5. We are going to a game 5 here at the TIA Grand Finals, nonetheless. OG taking game 4 at 65 minutes in.
The clutch plays from Anna and Seb over and over again. Jerax as well saves all over the place.
You can see the disappointment on these faces too. They were like, we have this is it.
I mean, if you told me a month ago I'd be casting the Grand Finals at TI, I wouldn't have believed it. If you told me I would be casting OG in the Grand Finals, I would have believed it. If you told me Ben Blue was coming back to join me, I wouldn't have believed it. And if you told me we are going to a game 5, I would have walked away. There we go, ladies and gentlemen, 2-2 between OG and PSG.
Caralho, o chinês ficou bravo, velho. Campeão, OG. Que coisa linda, velho.
Wow, what was that? We are witnessing history as we go to a Game 5. Hasn't happened in years, 5 years to be exact. And now in the Grand Final, we have 1 game away from crowning a new champion. I mean, we were standing out here just trying to take it all in, and we could not tell which way it was going to go, Black.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of lost my voice while I was there screaming, so...
understandable.
It was just insane, that game. Like, we thought it was over like a minute 30, and then suddenly it became like a minute 70 game where OG suddenly turned the tables around. I have no idea what even happened.
Yeah, we came out here, the Chinese crowd, to like start going crazy, basically. That's how we're here for. The LGD fans, we're like, all right, I want to go listen to them as they win this thing. But OG, all right. Now, there's one thing I know about Seb, is that he responds extremely well to people doubting him. And I said that is one thing that team was lacking, is they didn't have an off-lane player who you could put the game on and depend on and win you some Dota 2. And clearly Seb heard me, because he got really mad, turned bright red, and absolutely destroyed that game.
Yeah, I mean, Sin, OG showed us the OG that we talked about throughout the TI, right? I mean, throughout all of TI. They showed us some of their own picks, and also this just in the face of adversity, coming back stronger than ever.
I'm just glad I'm still alive. That's all I can say after that game. My heart was actually really pounding during those last, I don't know, 20 minutes. So fortunately, we're still here. So that's good. No, man, that was actually a crazy game. That's probably the game of the tournament for me so far. Unbelievable how OG somehow seems to end up in every game of the tournament. And then they make the next one, and the next one, and the next one. They just have this unbelievable ability to come back from ridiculous situations in this game. It looked so hard, and they play around these small little advantages that they get in the fight so well and just play the waiting game. They play these like 40-second team fights where they get 3 calls off, they get 2 or 3 tornadoes off, and they have the best talent in all of Dota 2 in this game. Let's not forget PL's 25 doppelganger talent truly made this game for them. So getting to that stage, I was looking at PL leveling out, I was like, oh, when he hits 25, this could get scary, and damn, it did. They could not kill him.
Yeah, that's been a consistent thing for OG as well, right? Like we've talked about some teams losing the game in the laning stage. Maybe they just can't get enough out of it, but one thing about OG is that their draft will always have that late game powerhouse. Feels like every single time Anna will have at least some sort of option carrying through, and that PL was completely unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, this time, right, we always talk about certain players, and this time I think Anna definitely coming in strong for OG as just making plays around the map. And then we mentioned Seb as well, of course, pulling out the axe and making plays, turning that mid game around for OG.
I mean, playing axe in this kind of game is very, very hard. Where like pretty much the only disable or initiate you have. So if you mess up your call, pretty much the entire team is just like left without any options. And we have seen it a couple of times where they juked him and they completely lost the team fights. But when it really mattered, he came out strong, and I'm really impressed by his performance.
Yeah,
and let's not forget the. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say we talked about the possibilities of that last pick, right? We're looking for that big Sunstrike play, but Thompson, this guy, he has, I think, virtually never played Exort Invoker. I mean, there wasn't even a recorded game that we could find where he had done it before, right? So this guy switched up, went the Exort Invoker, and got the Sunstrike kills they needed to actually snowball that laning phase for Seb.
And I want to give props to whoever in that booth suggested the axe. Like, let's not forget that this hero hasn't been played the whole main event. I think we haven't seen it a single time. Maybe it got picked once or twice in the groups as one of the least picked heroes of the whole tournament. Find this game where they're like, okay, this is what we need. And we were looking for that creativity today.
Yeah.
We've had multiple great creative picks from both teams. And now for the one final game, you've got to come up with that tournament-winning pick. And OG have shown they can do it. LG have shown they can do it. I have no idea what's coming our way.
Yeah, I mean, I think going into Game 5, it's really hard to tell. No one can really sit there and be like, I confidently know which team is going to play better, because both of them have shown us what they've got. PSG LGD showing us their form, right? Their cleanliness, them being stronger in the lanes, and then OG, the creativity and just making the special plays that they needed now and then. And then now we're one game away, Black, from finding a new champion.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest doubt I've had with the OG lineup is going head-to-head with LGD and have an even draft. This game had a really even draft, and they managed to come out on top. I don't know. How did they do it? Like, we watched game 2 and 3, they got completely blown out.
I think the biggest difference between LGD and OG for me, I think OG are better at using buybacks. When I look across these games, it seems to be like the key thing that OG does better than every other team here is that they use these buybacks, and they have a very good understanding of how to outnumber their opponents, keeping track of what buybacks the enemy team has, and just use these to... They're not afraid of taking a fight where they use 3 buybacks to wipe the enemy team, because they've done their research. They know when it's worth it, how to do it, especially if they end up getting towers or Roshan. They come back in the game that way.
Yeah, it's no coincidence. Like 4 games so far in the upper back from them to end in that exact same fashion, right? They understand how to abuse that mechanic of the buyback. It feels like they're doing it every single time. They grab these teams that look so crisp and always have this perfect execution, and they pull them down into the dirt of these like disgusting team fights. You have no idea what's happening, and there's like 50 of them. You can't kill them all. They have no solution. And when you roll around the dirt like that, eventually they come out on top in terms of the buybacks, and they somehow take the game.
Yeah, forcing them to play OG's game, right? Forcing their opponents to play OG's game. And let's talk about the buybacks a little bit. I mean, sometimes it feels like OG perhaps waits a little too long because they're trying to be too calculated around it. But when it matters, like you said, they're utilizing it perfectly to make sure they get a further advantage after the fight.
I think this game, they knew that they had better late game. So if this PL really gets 6-0, they won't really be able to lose the fights too easily unless LGD plays it perfectly. But there was this one situation where Bloodseeker did not have buyback and he was dead for 50 seconds, and they actually did not try to press for a base push. So I was a bit surprised that they chose to play so safe. But I guess in the end it worked out for them because they do have the superior lineup.
Yeah, well, going into one last game, I mean, there's no speculation, right? One game now to determine who's going to win, who's going to be the champion, who's going to lift the Aegis of Champions. And PSG LGD, let's not forget, I mean, that last game was all about OG turning it around, but PSG LGD looked spectacular in games 2 and 3.
Yeah, I mean, the way they turned that game around, too, because, like, at first it was going OG's way, right? And we were like, oh, okay, yeah, OG, they might actually win this game. Seb's going to control until he sunstrikes, and then that one snowball save. Like, one of these big plays where we're looking for individuals to actually step up, right? FY makes that giant play up inside the Dire jungle near the bounty rune, turns around that fight, and suddenly the whole momentum is swinging the way of LGD, and that's when everyone's just like, okay, I guess this is it. I guess OG are finally done for. They ran out of magic, and somehow they just found it in that late game.
All right, well, we're going to have a chance to catch our breath a little bit, obviously, just swimming in emotions here in the Rogers Arena. We're going to tune in with Casey, who's out in the stadium.
You guys asked for game 5. You got it! All right, let me hear from everybody who thinks LGD is going to take it. Sorry, did I stutter? What about OG? Keep the hype going, okay? So I want everybody to just make as much noise as you possibly can. Let's try the wave one more time, starting with this section and going that way. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go, 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 go. I can't hear you. There you go. Keep going. Don't drown. It's coming back. Here we go. Here we go, take it, keep going, keep going! Oh, keep going, don't let it die! All right, guys, come on, here we go. Why is it quiet? That is not appropriate grand finale behavior. Here it comes, come on! Give some noise! Here we go! Are you ready, Chobra?
Absolutely, Casey. I think the Rogers Arena is definitely ready for the next game. Thank you so much for tuning in with the fans. I mean, the energy in here, it was like we were in a gym and just doing kind of cheer practices back and forth between OG fans and LGD fans, right? Kind of split halfway down the line as well in the stadium, and both sides going crazy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're here in the arena, don't forget that after this next game, just one game left, once we have a new champion and they lift that Aegis, we will have that special edition of the late game show live from Queen Elizabeth Theater. It's not far, so if you're not from the area, just ask a friend or check your maps. You'll be able to walk there, and that will be with the winners of the grand finals, which will be a special treat, and some other guests as well. A live band, over 2,500 seats, first come, first serve. So let's celebrate here as we crown a new champion, and then we'll walk over together to the late game show and celebrate further on a brand new international champion. So that should be an awesome treat for us to really wrap up TI8. I mean, this TI has been an international stories for sure, and I think this finals is the epitome of that.
We got one again, guys. Game 5.
Yeah.
It's not just that we got a Game 5. I feel like these games just across all 4 of the games that we had so far were not like super one-sided or boring or anything.
No.
Like it was. That's what this OG team does. Even when they're behind, you always have that feeling like it's never over. It's never over. That's their mentality too. So when we're like, oh, it's over, we're like, correct. 33% of the time maybe, and the other times it's not over, and actually a lot of them OG do come back in. So for me, this is like outstanding. If you think back to TI3, a lot of the games in that grand final best of 5 were actually pretty one-sided. The first games of the series were very quick, going both ways, and then the 5th game was obviously incredible. So I just hope we get that again here.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we'd wind up with another scenario there in terms of like the team who has the Earthshaker is going to win, much like back then the team that has the Eye was just going to win. Yeah, and it started like that.
And then it was banned.
And I thought, uh-oh. But now we've somehow found a place where you can get the same hero on both sides, as both teams had a PL last game, so that was pretty entertaining. Just itemize identically, just play up against each other. Turns out Anna's is quite a bit better.
That was the deciding factor probably in that matchup.
Got the CD talent.
Yes, yeah, that was a slight edge to have that
Obviously, the
PL.
replica doesn't have that. Yeah. So.
No.
If Morphling had that talent,
that
would
be fun.
Yeah,
that would be really fun.
It'd be nuts to watch and follow. But there we have it. OG coming up, tying it up 2-2. One game away, game 5. Let's talk to me a little bit about what does it mean to have a game 5 here at TI8? I mean, we're celebrating both teams at this point, no matter who you are, because people kind of they jokingly ask like, "Oh, it'd be great to watch Great Dota 3-2." Well, now you have it, Black.
Yeah, I underestimated them like all the way through the winner bracket. Even in the final, I thought LGD has the upper hand in like all 3 games. Of course, in game 1 they managed to come out on top in the end, but I am a doubter no longer. After the last game, I'm convinced.
You can't be.
Oh yeah, I mean, 50-50, I don't really care anymore who wins. I just want to see good
50-50.
Dota. Wow, great panel, guys. Want me to just
really
flip
breaking
a coin
it down
while we're at it here? That sound good?
Oh, man.
I don't know. We had something new last year, right? A 3-0. Not exactly what you want. So happily we'll be getting ourselves the only second ever game 5.
And if
all these 3-1s. That's what we're
and
used
if
to.
the game 5, Na'Vi Alliance is an indicator for this game, then we're in for a treat.
Yeah, and I think we know that we will be, right, given how these two teams play. We talked about their styles countless times, but they match up so well to create interesting scenarios within the game, and every game itself seems to be kind of a story and a novel on its own, and usually it is about, can OG find a way back, and half the time they have so far. So 2-2, we'll find out how it goes game 5. Trent, your thoughts going into game 5, last game of this TI?
I think we've talked a lot about emotions throughout a lot of TI, right? Especially when it comes to like all those 2-0s we had to start the whole bracket, right? We often talk about how you lose that first game and suddenly it's just like, oh man, you're coming in a little defeated. You're like, okay, this is it, guys. We might be like completely eliminated from TI right now. And then suddenly they just lose. And it's 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. Lost out on a lot of first blood. Condolences to our fans that are here. But now that emotion like suddenly comes back, right? Where OG, you got to be feeling better coming in this game. Surely that's got to be a hard game to shake off if you're on the side of LGD, because you really feel like you had that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really got it.
Thank you, Sid.
The emotions are still running through Sid a little bit.
He's all choked up. I don't know. I can't get anything out of him.
You okay there, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah.
As long as you can answer that question, we're good. You know what I think is interesting is it's also not a complete reverse sweep we're looking into, right? So momentum, you can't really argue, is on either side as well. Well, Rogers Arena, do you hear that rumble? We're getting ready to see our teams enter once again. PSG LGD going for a championship title. They were leading 2-1. And lost game 4. Now they're looking for redemption in one single last game. And then you have OG coming in strong, breaking all the expectations and predictions, and taking us to a game 5. I think Odie put it perfectly in that this scenario that we live in today is really the end, the climax of a series of just unexpected results. And to see this matchup in a game 5 is truly spectacular.
And this is when the one thing is the emotions that Trent talked about, but the other one, from a strategic standpoint, you're playing one last game. There is the risk that now you really start overthinking particular matchups or specific aspects of the game, and you can end up almost in a way counterpicking yourself. This is something that we've seen from losing teams across all of TI's history and all Dota tournaments history, is that sometimes you adjust in the wrong way. And that's the one thing you don't want to do in this game, is to make those wrong adjustments. So that's why the coaches, I think, are really important. They're more level-headed probably. They watched it from outside the booth. They got to see all the things that when you're playing these games, you're like you don't see everything that's happening in the same way as somebody from the outside does. So I think it's really important for both teams. Of course, OG are feeling really happy after that win, but they probably still need to cool down and get down to earth, because they could also make the same mistake of being overconfident in something.
The crowd cheering on with OG as they finish their huddle in the booth. We've talked a lot about those outside resources, right? The coaches and even the captains and how they rally around the team. And I think, obviously, PSG LGD perhaps needing that a little bit more after such a tough loss in Game 4.
Yeah, I mean...
What did you do after the loss like that, Black?
After a loss like that...
I know you had a lot of them.
Yeah, well, I never went to Game 5 in the first place.
Not quite the same, huh?
No, but like if you lose like that, it's rough. Usually, it's best if you have an outside person to talk to you, because everyone in the team is probably very emotional, like all 5 of the players. So hopefully the coach managed to like calm them down a little bit, because they're gonna need 100%. Like 95% won't cut it anymore. Have to play all they have on the table.
Just slam down on it. Don't break our battle yet. The show has one more game to go.
You know, at this point, actually, I think you can go for it.
All right. Well, we'll think about it.
It's a pretty good condition still. So.
Of course, I mean, we saw that here, too, as we've had the coach interviews, right? Both 357 and Parcel going, you know, kind of being lighthearted as they come out, still being able to keep that calm. And I think over the years as well, as we've gotten more insight into teams and how they function, it's been very clear that in the middle of a series, teams are still able to regroup around coaches or managers or other kind of resources they have. But now it's one single game. You have to put everything on the line between these two teams. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready for the last game of TI 8. One last draft, one last game, and then we will have a new champion, a new team walking up to the Aegis to lift it up here in Vancouver. You see OG still running through the last details. No Tail and Seb having a little bit of a conversation back and forth. Of course, as we've discussed on the PSG LGD side, 357, the coach will be kind of managing and leading the draft almost entirely on his own.
What do you think they're talking about?
OG.
Yeah.
Well played, man.
Well played. I don't know.
Well played, man.
I think I had enough time.
Yeah, 10 minutes after, like, by the way, well played. Didn't quite get to tell you that during the last game. I mean, what do you talk about when it's like this? When you know it's one game left, right? It's not about, hey, you know, just win one more game and then another. This is literally now back to being a best of one in either scenario.
I think you talk about your openers and your overall strategy, and just like if there's anything from the last game that you really hated, things that you don't want to play against, or things that you really liked. I mean, some players, of course, maybe you get a little bit shook. You lose some game on a hero, even if it's one of your favorites. Perhaps you just don't feel like the confidence on it that you might need.
Black just looks at me and laughs like, I don't know what.
God, you guys are so useful.
I don't know what to do anymore.
Ladies and gentlemen, the good news is the draft is about to get underway. So Rogers Arena, give it up as we face the last game of the grand final at the International.
PSG LGD versus OG. Grand Finals Game 5.
Game 5, one last game. One game in between either of these teams and the Aegis. OG versus PSG LGD. And it looks like OG will have the second pick, PSG LGD having that first pick. As we go through the band to the Spectre Man and Tiny Man, quite familiar by now in this best of 5.
So before we get into the bands and picks too much here, I want to quickly talk about how I feel like in some way when you look at these two teams, if you remember, OG have been in this situation before with both No-Tail and Ana. They had a similar situation with OG at the Kiev Major, I think it was, when they made a ridiculous comeback against Virtus Pro in, I believe that was a Game 5
Game
as well.
5, yep.
I think, was that a reverse sweep, actually? I don't remember entirely how that series went down. I think VP were up 2-0 and OG took 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
Or something. That's how I remember it anyway. So they have that mentality, and I think it's incredible to see Ana, who was out of the scene for a bit. He took a break for personal reasons. He comes back and it's like he was never gone.
Yep.
In these high-pressure matches, this guy just delivers.
And look at the respect there from PSG LGD. How many late game heroes can this guy play? Well, they're looking to find one more.
OG are laughing.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Think about what's being opened up here now, right? Like that Weaver, one of the most important heroes in the game right now, I would say.
Now that Lancer's banned out, OG's response compared to last game is they banned the Drow, because now both of the counterpick carries that you will generally see against the Drow Ranger, both Spectre and PL, are out of the pool.
Yeah, and despite her not really making an appearance here, you can see very level-headed drafting too.
Yeah.
Just like keeping that on your mind.
What are we expecting from Ana then? Most of his wins are on Spectre or PL. What is that kid?
Morphling.
Morphling.
They could IO Gyro if that ends.
IO Gyro, yeah.
Last game Ember. Let's go.
Last game Ember.
Finally, the people
they're not getting IO Gyro though. I'm pretty convinced that LGD will grab the IO if it's in the pool.
I think Ember is not the right hero for Ana in a 5th game in a grand final like this. He's usually the game closer, and Ember is more like the enabler for another hero to close out the game. So,
well, if the games keep going 60 minutes, Black, then Ember is a pretty good late game hero.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. So I think Morphling is definitely a hero to look out for. As we've seen both teams play it, OG play it in 2 lanes. They will ban the IO. So I think this could be a first pick Venge, or maybe they steal the Chen X Nova.
The Earthshaker, I was going to ask. I mean, it's still in this time, and now we see PSG LGD taking it first.
Do we go back for things like this Wraith King Willow? I do think it's very strong.
Isn't the game just over?
I mean, so far, if stats don't lie, the game is over here because of that Earthshaker, of course, played an integral part in the past couple matches.
This time, however, LGD will not be getting it with their Enchantress because they banned that themselves. So
that's true.
What about something like a Silencer?
That's true. Yeah, the Silencer goes through again.
Silencer will more than likely be grabbed for no-tail in this game, unless he wants his Chen. He needs to make up his mind here. I think he might be thinking Chen isn't the ideal solution just because Shaker can kind of counteract the early aggression against that hero. Oh, the Furon's in too.
It's been banned.
There are so many heroes that got through now.
Yeah, because they focused on that late game against Ana. Now no-tail's hero pool was wide open. The Nature's Prophet coming in.
7-0 on the Earthshaker.
The numbers are starting to point in one direction.
7-0. Could it be 8-0? Lucky number TI8. Everything's lining up here.
7-1 combo breaker. And the final.
Possible.
Then they would have the same win rate. Jarek's is 7-1 on Shake.
That is true. So many storylines in this draft alone. Well, with the Nature's Prophet, are we still thinking about some of the heroes we mentioned earlier that are still left open because of this, right? Because of these unique bans that are now coming out.
Silencer is definitely still one to look out for. I think LGD will want to grab that pick. It's also pretty good against Nature's Prophet, in my opinion.
Oh,
Rubik.
That is very surprising.
That is all right, but this makes
we
sense.
can
with
play
the Prophet,
Shaker
though.
too. If you guys play Shaker, we play Shaker.
PL, Shaker. But this is the Nature's Prophet, right? It's just like the Enchantress, the exact same impact.
But now, listen, LGD will pick Morphling.
What about
He will take Morph target's allies, and then they will have 2 Shakers.
Which is better than 1 Shaker.
Then they win 2-1.
Okay, fair.
The battle
Just wait until it happens.
Thank you for pointing that out.
All right.
Just wait until it happens.
But yeah, the Weaver still being in. I think that's pretty strong, right? Because they want this Nature's Prophet because he's a bully in the lane. That means you can get away with someone who's a little bit weaker, like this Rubik. So you want someone who's strong enough to sustain these bully lanes. Weaver or Clinks, which is something that's been missing, and LGD played exceptionally well with that Earthshaker throughout the tournament with.
Yeah, true.
That's if they plan to pick the core early.
Rubik's good against Weaver too, though. You give him an extra,
that's true.
An extra good opponent to steal from.
Hasn't worked out too well for the teams that picked the Rubik into the Weaver.
I think Rubik generally just has a bad win rate.
Yeah.
I would say. So.
Earthshaker's finally figured it out.
He's just baiting the crowd.
He's waiting.
He's changing his mind all the time. All right.
The Terrorblade.
Terrorblade. That's super early for a Terrorblade too.
Yeah, well, there's not that many late game heroes that the teams play, so might as well grab it early here for LGD.
Okay, so what's for Ana? You said Morphling?
Morphling. They're going to ban Morph, I would think, but maybe not, actually.
I think it's, like, from a carry perspective, I think it's very scary to play Morphling against a Shaker. Because you always want to be somewhat low health, and if you ever jump to, you just die immediately. If you don't have a combo breaker.
Same thing.
The matchup against Terrorblade is good, though, right?
Morph against Terrorblade? Yeah, now it's good.
It's a
Before
good
it was
Because you just
bad,
get meta and you turn back into Morphling.
Yeah, and you also get Reflection when you turn into it. So
yeah,
it's a pretty good
matchup is good. Just the instant stun is very Shaker.
I think it's gonna be hard to find a carry where you're like, this carry is great against Shaker. It's part of the strength of the heroes. Having an instant stun is just amazing, and having a stun that can catch from fog, so you're never really safe, is also amazing.
The only way to really survive it is if you're tanky enough, which most hard carries are not.
And you don't want to pick Wraith King into Terrorblade. That would be a tanky carry.
Yeah, or
but we haven't
Lifestealer.
seen Ana play it.
Makes
Yeah,
no
nobody plays Lifestealer Black.
That
Don't
is
even
true.
suggest it. It's
So-
not a hero.
Sorry.
Especially into Terrorblade.
Especially the Terrorblade, yeah.
Come
Aqua
on,
out,
Pike.
partner out.
Come on, man.
Sorry, dude.
Arc Warden would have been another pick OG could have gone for.
That would have been their double Necro strat possibly again too, right? With the bubbles versus the Terrorblade. Seem to thoroughly enjoy that. I like OG banning out the Storm Spirit. I think that is something that they probably were going to look for. Again, just mega comfort pick, just like the Terrorblade for LGD, and someone who can go around that map and stop and just kind of feed off of this Nature's Prophet trying to split push.
What about the Thompson Zeus this game? Good against Shaker,
True.
good against Terrorblade.
Definitely a hero to look out for.
And Storm is banned out, of course.
Yeah.
So
Zeus
jumping on
could
him
end
is
up
gonna be
being
hard.
really good. They also have the Nature's Prophet, so they have a bit of a global strat going on. Could definitely see
And
that being
Rubik
a
to
nice
also amplify the spell damage that comes out of him.
Do you think your lanes will be strong enough though?
It depends what
Definitely.
you...
I mean, Zeus mid is not weak, right? He's very strong now with like the 70 damage over 1.
He does well in quite a few matchups nowadays.
Yeah.
He's not really that much of a lane winner, except mainly against melee mids that we don't really see too many of.
Yeah.
So another hero that maybe OG could look toward here would be an Alchemist for Ana. I haven't really seen him play it that much, but he used to play that back in OG as well, in the old OG. Back in OG.
That was the Kiev Major, right? It was the
Yep.
Alchemist that...
Alchemist was definitely
Every
a hero.
game.
But Terrorblade has a pretty good matchup against Alchemist.
Yeah.
He's one of the tankier ones against Shaker, though. So
They usually use, if people take Alch, you can send the Terrorblade mid because he's like so much armor that you don't even care about the assets.
They banned Alchemist.
they banned Alchemist.
I think OG feels very uncomfortable if they do not have the better late game. So if they were to pick like an Alchemist, Magnus, there we
That's
go
one
with the
way
late
to
game.
compare the late game.
So this is a
There we go with the late game.
This is going to be a no-tail Prophet then and not Seb. Jerax on the Rubik and Seb on his Magnus.
The lanes look pretty weak right now, though. Like, Rubik lane is not very strong, and the Magnus lane itself is also not very strong.
Something that I've noticed that OG like to do when they have the Magnus is they like to play this 1-2 off lane where they both have wave clear, and they just push the wave. They cast their nukes on both heroes, they drain their regen, and then they try to out-farm. So they have both Shockwave and Fade Bolt.
And they always get a ranged hero, too, to use the Empower, because it's more abusive in the lane. It's not as good for cleaving creeps and everything, but you just get this bonus damage, you harass. And they could potentially do it with, like, the Rubik and the Magnus, and then when Prophet's ready, he just TP's in it, and that tower's just gone.
They can
Very
overwhelm
quick
the safe.
sweep of the lane.
Yeah.
They do lack a lot of damage right now, though.
Yeah, but Silencer is no D-push, and neither is Earthshaker in the laning phase.
Yeah, there's going to be some wave clear for LGD's next picks for sure. But I do want to say, even though they don't have the most physical damage, still sustained magic harassment is actually pretty annoying for Terrorblade to deal with in lane. That's the one thing. He has low health pool but has high armor.
It's actually worse for him.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh.
The counter.
For the Ember.
Okay, but you're
Alright.
playing against Silencer and Earthshaker. That's pretty bold.
That hasn't stopped Ana before.
It's true.
So it's Ana Ember confirmed 100%.
It could be Thompson still, but I think Ana is just... He's better on the hero, so it depends on what they think is the greater good in the end when they look at all the possible lane matchups they can get with their placement.
So this is physical Ember for sure, right? Having a Magnus,
Most
more than likely.
You can go a hybrid build. So what OG did a lot in the European qualifiers when they had Mag Ember was that Ember went to Maelstrom first, and then they had this really nice mix of damage where you're empowered, so you have a lot of physical damage. You get a 25 damage talent on level 10, and then you have the Maelstrom for faster wave clear and mixed damage type in fights, and then late game you can choose. You can go either direction when you go Maelstrom first. So definitely think that is a solid choice here. I mean, I'm really happy we get to see an Ember Spirit in this last game from OG. I think this is the perfect hero to go out on, win or lose.
I really hope they put it middle, though. Personally, I feel Ember is very strong against Kunkka in the lane. Also, in the game, it's very hard to catch him. Like, when we played the C qualifier, whenever we saw Kunkka, we immediately snatched an Ember to lane against it. Just he can't remove your Flame Guard at all.
Right.
And it's very easy to actually kill him. And
Now-
it's very hard for him to kill you.
A lot of teams will put the Earthshaker mid versus the Ember, right? And try and abuse that.
And then the
That's
support
probably not
Kunkka.
going to happen here in Game 5, I'm thinking. But
I mean, FY Shaker is pretty good. You don't want to give up.
I think I still have a feeling that if this is a Kunkka versus Ember matchup mid, the Kunkka is going to win. Because I think the SDA qualifier that you think back to was Kunkka in the same state that he is now with the damage on Tidebringer and denies.
Yep.
Yeah, he was
the
just
same
fine.
one. It's just like
I have
2 months
a
ago.
hard time seeing Somnus losing this lane, but I'm ready to be blown away by this matchup. in my mind, Ember should not stand a chance against Kunkka until he gets a couple of levels up in terms of kill power. So
we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see who's right.
And we'll find out where that Ember goes as well. Of
LGD
course.
fanboy.
OG having that last pick. PSG LGD looking to round out their composition.
Off lane, Chalice hero.
There's still Weaver.
There's still Weaver.
Oh, yeah.
Ember doesn't want to deal with the bug, really.
What else is there?
But then again, it's into the Rubik, so it still feels awkward.
Beastmaster.
That would be a flashback.
I think the Wraith King seems like a pretty nice choice in this game for Chalice, just because you want someone who can go in first and try to force RP or some sort of response and then build around that in the fight. Okay, this was not what I was expecting. But still, it's similar logic. It's somebody who goes first. Like, they need somebody to jump, and then they can follow up with global silence and take the fight like that. Either they get a quick kill, or they force an RP in response, and then they global, depending on how they look at it. This obviously gives OG the option to counterpick the bat in lane.
They might even think about Jug, I guess. I mean, I know they just banned it. We're considering it would fit with like kind of their push strat too, but
yeah, he goes Battle Fury and kills everything.
Yeah, that's what Pastorell says.
That's really good.
It must be solid.
Anna always played the Ember safely in the qualifiers, right? Or did he play it mid too?
I think every time it was mid, it was Thompson, and they did that once or twice. But Anna always played it in the safe lane, as far as I can remember. But that's one thing about this bad fighter. This is a matchup that Ember hates in lane, so they're gonna try.
Well, there's the Zeus.
Okay. All right.
I think they
OG
needed...
back to qualifiers. Same strat.
There you go.
I thought you were flaming the
The #1 strat of their qualifier run, Zeus, Ember, and Mag. These three heroes, they picked a lot, and they were dominant, so this will be exciting.
Well, go back to what you know, and it's one game on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the final game of the grand final, and therefore the final game here at the International 2018. The draft is ready. Earthshaker is on PSG LGD's side, but we'll see how Destiny unfolds this time.
I feel like Chalice is going to have such a good game.
Exciting for sure. I mean, kind of unique conversations as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from both coaches this time as we get ready for the last game.
All right, guys, so we figured we would take advantage of the fact that this is the final game. The players cannot hear what we are talking about out here, so we thought we would ask the coaches to tell us what they can about what we can expect from their teams. Tell us everything you got, man.
Well, you should expect magic, because this is what we did so far, right? The only thing that we were thinking about is if we pick Lina or Zeus in the end, and we had a little struggle there because like you need to be a Thompson hero that is like comfortable. Lina has like disabled. Zeus is kind of bad against Kunkka because you get caught. You know, we don't have a proper save, and we wanted Zeus more because it has more value against the Terrorblade. So, I mean, everyone is happy with the draft. We're gonna go along with it.
357, same question. Helen is helping us translate as well. What can you tell us about your strategy for this final game?
这是第5盘了，选手听不到我们现在说的话，我们想听你最真实的想法。这第5把怎么样？
我觉得就是这个宙斯这个点，如果能处理好就还好吧。宙斯这个点蛮克 TB 的。
If we can take off the Zeus, then we're all good because Zeus is a counter against Terrorblade.
Confidence level?
自信心满吗？自信心满度。
很有自信，可以的。
Very confident. We can do it.
Confidence level?
Over 9,000.
All right, casters, this is your grand final. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Casey. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Game 5 of the TIA Grand Finals between PSG LGD and OG. And it all starts right here. Boys, what do we reckon about this final draft from both teams that we're going to see in this Game 5?
I'm still resetting. I'm still resetting, honestly.
Oh, man, Game 4. Whew, what a game. But here in this Game 5, yeah, we have the Zeus versus Terrorblade. First Terrorblade, not really vulnerable to that many picks, but as Professor Roll was talking about, yeah, Zeus and Lina, one of the best. I don't think Thompson's Lina has been particularly fantastic, but his Zeus the other day was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to In particular, just a lot of ults. Of course, like if they can get if they can make the Magnus work. That's the big thing I'm looking for, OG. Can they actually enable this Magnus? Can he enable their cores as well? And how much can they make happen in this bottom lane?
Seb has been spamming that hero.
He has been.
Plays Magnus nonstop, and this team is really good about capitalizing on those RPs. Normally, there's like that 1 second delay. It's like, oh, he RP'd, but I think with Seb on the Magnus, they know when it's going to happen.
I think this tough lane should be extremely difficult for OG. This Batrider, unless he gets really pressured by the early treants, should be able to have a really good time versus Ember and Nature's Prophet. He can just run them down with a fissure if he gets some stacks up. Mid matchup, I think Somnus should be able to have a fine time, and they can even have the kill threat and rotations. But Thompson also shouldn't get killed by himself by any means as a Zeus.
No, we should expect to see Thompson have a much better time against Somnus compared to when he was playing his Invoke.
Absolutely.
I think this game, the team fight is very even on both sides. So you have the Magnus on one side, you have the Silencer to counter it, you have the Batrider, but he's only single target, relatively huge amount of AoE damage coming out from OG. So I think these lineups are fairly equal.
Yeah. The thing I like about OG's draft is the one thing I always look at when you're playing versus a Silencer is a way to get vision of where that Silencer is in the team fight. So they've got the Zeus ulti to do that, and then they can pierce the backlines with an Ember Spirit to get on top of it. So that can be pretty nice for them. But as for LGD, they do have a lot of ways of initiating fights. They have their Kunkka to start it, and then they have the follow-up with Global, Batrider, and Earthshaker. It's a lot of ways to actually initiate and counter-initiate.
I think Kunkka has also been maybe's best hero this tournament. He's just been destroying on that. And it is a pretty easy lane for Zeus, but actually even in CS.
Yeah, I think his Kunkka and his Storm for me have been unbelievable. As we'll probably see the similar build that he's been doing on that Kunkka, maybe not double bracer, but at least one of those bracers, and this time he's going to go for like the magic wand. X, he needs some heavy harass, but we'll be okay.
A lot of potential for X-Nova this game to have a huge impact. We've seen from the Silencers through and through this competition so many times these sort of big team fights put to a halt. You've got to be careful if you're this Ember or if you are, of course, Seb on the Magnus, in terms of holding on to the RP in top lane. Bit of a block off there onto Ana. He's got the stick charges. He does have 3 stacks of sticky napalm upon him as Chalice diving in. Gets that first blood. Tanks up a bit of the tower, but he's able to get his way out of it. PSG LGD. Off to a strong start in this top lane.
Yeah, a little bit of risky move by Noto. He TP'd, but he didn't TP back home. He TP'd to pull the wave. And Ana was just let out there by his lonesome.
They have to go for those type of kills constantly in the top lane, because Batrider, you don't really last hit that great in the laning phase. You're just going to get your last hits through your Firefly once you're able to do some stacks and whatnot. So they have to play very aggressive up here whenever they see an opportunity if Ana steps up too far. Bottom lane going very well for OG. Seb is doing a great job with that Empower. They're really messing with Ame's with the Fade Bolt as well. You see that massively reduced damage. He's sitting at 40 compared to Seb's 80. So just making it that much easier for the Magnus to put the pressure onto Ame.
Yeah, the Quelling Blade can only do so much for him. And next Nova, I mean, he doesn't have any points in Glaze of Wisdom, and he can't really harass Seb. Magnus is actually surprisingly tanky in lane. Yeah. Really hard to harass out.
Ame's going to use the Metamorphosis to try and catch up in the CS. Get a bit of harass onto Jax and Seb if possible. And try and close that gap between himself and Seb as you talk about Seb with that lead. Second highest in CS level with his Ember Spirit at the moment.
This is not an easy Magnus game, by the way. As soon as he jumps in, he can get lifted, or he can get lassoed, he can get fissured, he can get echoed. There's so many counterplays, especially Global Silence. So I wouldn't feel super comfortable as a Magnus here. You really want someone else to jump in, like the Ember.
Thompson steps up a bit far in the mid lane. FY as well as Somnus, they're catching on him, and there's boots on that Shaker.
Should have the catch here with the fish up into the X-Mark Torrent combo. They've caught Thompson. Will he die to the Ancients? He won't. Somnus gets the hit in with the Tidebringer. He has the damage to claim the second kill here for PSG LGD.
FY has been doing a really good job controlling both the runes. 2-minute rune, he got the haste 4-minute rune. Make sure that Zeus can't get it. He did rush a bottle and won't be able to get that regeneration rune that is generally a lane win for the Zeus.
Yeah, FY's got it, so he can even keep his pressure on this map. At the moment, he's getting close to Arcane Boots already on the Shaker. As Jarex in some trouble here.
Fisher block not quite successful, but it doesn't look like it may matter with the damage coming out between the two of them. Slow from the curses.
Still has the regen.
FY one more slam with the totem.
Full mana.
And they're trying to go around, maybe try and get a kill on Chalice up here, but it doesn't matter if the Shaker's there or not. They can't get the kill.
Yes.
Bounty runes. LG looks like they're going to be the ones to claim 3.
Top lane, a bit of a dive going on to Ana. He's got 5 stacks at the moment on him. Hotel will TP and Chalice is tanking quite a bit of the tower. Stick charges there from Anna.
He's living.
As Anna will be fine there. I don't think, well, it looks of it, Chalice checked the stick charges on Anna as he was A-okay. Mid lane at the same time, Thompson getting gone on FY's there with the combo. Helping out Somnus secure that kill onto the Zeus.
You kind of expect this from Zeus. Just because he's dying doesn't mean the lane's going poorly. It's actually kind of expected, I would say. But really, he'll just contribute later on in the team fights. He's not quite level 6 yet.
I mean, that one death that he did have, it does start to hurt you because you get that level disadvantage. FY making those moves all over the place.
Absolutely setting up for another kill here as they chase down Jerax. More +2 for the Silencer. Top lane as well. Chalice runs down Anna. It's 6-1. The kill starting to really build up in this first 6 minutes of gameplay from PSG LGD.
They don't have a real good way to protect their Ember Spirit in that top lane. If anything, they need the Rubik there to help him to pull that aggressiveness that's coming out from Chalice off of him.
And they're not slowing down this Earthshaker's farm at all. He has 500 gold and arcane boots. If he gets an early blink, I mean, I'm really scared for OG.
Yep.
Now Seb.
Seb is in a lot of trouble here too.
He is. They're coming looking for him in the trees. FY's there, ready for him, waiting for him.
He was right on top of him. Oh, man.
3-0-3 on this Earthshaker already at the 6.5 minute mark.
The power of the Shaker, we've seen it not only in this finals, but throughout the whole tournament. FY, one of, if not the best Shaker in the game at the moment. And he's certainly showing it here in the game.
Mid lane, Jerax is here.
Trying to set up, buying time for No-Tail to come through. Somnus does get the boat out, but he's already dead. Thunder God's Wrath from Thompson will burst him down. They did send 4 heroes in for this one though, OG. Seb also joining in the middle lane.
They get the Kunkka kill, which is great, but now Ame's just got an open lane to himself. Now there's no pressure being put on this Tower Blade at all, who actually recovered really well. 36 and 14 last hits.
Yep, and they expended Zeus ult too, so not too much kill potential on the side lanes. They still have that double combo though from the Wrath of Nature.
Oh. Just in range there to dispel the smoke straight up. Jerax.
Jerax is pulling an X-Nova right now, right? Just smoking through with just putting down some words, getting ready for the next movements that are coming out.
And again, Somnus having a very scary start to this game. He's top on the CS. We saw what he was able to do with a good opening on his Kunkka earlier in this series. And so far, he's on the right track to offering a repeat performance.
Zeus also has to be careful, not only the global, but the curse. The curse really hurts Zeus.
It's true.
Especially because it's been buffed so many times.
Ana is level 6 here, has a remnant.
A little harder for Chalice to find those kills. Does have that lasso up, as No-Tail has been found out. He'll pop the Sprout down, but it'll be cut through by Somnus as another kill for Somnus in that middle lane.
Yeah, he blindly TP to try and steal the rune.
Yep.
He did get the regen.
They do send Thompson down here to put a bit of harassment onto Arme. But Arme's behind the tower. Instant TP comes in from FY as well, so OG can't dive.
They can't put a lot of pressure on the Tower Blade here, though, with the Zeus as well as that Shockwave spam coming out from that Magnus. They can slow down his farm a bit and force that reaction from LGD at least.
Look at this, 8.5 minutes in. Somnus doing a lot of damage to this mid-tier 1 tower. The pressure that he's putting on, incredibly impressive in this middle lane.
They really can't afford to give up this tower right now. I think both the Shaker and the Batrider, they're on their way to their blinks, and just that tower is going to make it that much easier.
Top lane Chalice playing around with that. He's holding on to the lasso for now. Now he'll pop it, feeling that he's got the damage to do the kill. And oh, Anna. Stick charge back up, able to get away mid lane. Seb comes in with a rotation, pops the RP down onto Somnus. They've got the burst. The setup's there. Takes 4 of them, but it does get them the kill on Somnus. And with sort of how beefy he was, it did look like they did need all 4 to get that kill.
I think Somnus did spend his gold before he died, or pretty close to all of it.
Almost all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, those kills start to add up. No, they have to commit 4 heroes, but it's time off the map, right? That's where 10 more seconds with Kunkka's not there to be threatening kills all over the place, and Thompson gets a little bit of a break on the Zeus to not have to worry about dying.
And they're focusing on him because they know they can deal with the Terrorblade with the Zeus later if it gets to that point of the game. So if they had to choose in between these 2 cores, it's definitely going to be the Kunkka.
Jerax.
FY goes for the setup. The Fisher into the combo. Torrent will be dodged. No-Tail's actually going to TP in for this one as Somnus beats down onto Jerax. Jerax able to get himself away. No, he's not! The Tidebringer from Somnus finds the kill. FY walks in for the Echoes down. The silence is there on Seb. Seb's coming to the fight, but he's instantly going to get sent out with a slap as FY chunks him down with the Enchant Totem. There's No-Tail also in trouble. Chalice diving on forward. Kill after kill. Anna, can he do anything in return? He comes in with the slight. The Remnant as well, looking for X-Nova and Somnus. He can't quite finish it off, and Arme, he's turned up, and he'll be able to take down Anna.
What a collapse by LGD. Even how does Ahmed just show up there?
12-3 now, and a 3K lead very early on for PSG LGD.
Look at this item build coming out from Chalice too. I thought he was going for the Blink Dagger, but it looks like he has Atos queued up. He keeps switching up, but
that
Atos to deal with the Ember?
Yeah, that could be pretty cool.
That's going to be pretty nasty. I mean, that's so much disable versus him. I think this is only because FY's having such a great game. They can rely on him to initiate into fights.
He's so close to the Blink Dagger.
And then Chalice, it makes him incredibly tanky on this Bat Rider. If he just charges in and you get a fissure, the follow-up afterwards, because FY's going to have that Blink so early on. Can definitely be an interesting approach here to just catch out all the time.
Jerax shows himself mid, but they've got the catch ready to deal with him. X-Mark into the combo. Jerax, another casualty here in the middle lane for OG. It's PSG LGD. They want to finish off this tower. TPs are coming in. Seb, can he have the damage here to help bring this man down? He'll pop the RP. He's not messing around. The torrent comes out. Chalice will still fall, though. OG get the kill. Again, cost them a lot. They keep that tier 1 alive. They can look for the deny.
Yeah, they can secure the deny, which could be beneficial for them here. But as all this is happening, Ame is not getting pressured, and FY pretty much has that Blink Dagger, but they do at least have the Zeus to counteract that a bit.
This is a scarily quick Blink Dagger here for FY. We've already seen what he can do. He's 4-0-6 at the moment at 11 minutes in on his Shaker.
With Arcane Boots, this has to be one of the fastest Blinks I've ever seen.
In Game 5 of the Grand Finals, nonetheless, as well. FY
4-0-6 already.
And he's ahead of Seb. Seb also going for the same build, the Arcane Boots into the Blink Dagger, but he's going to be a few minutes behind. And I don't see any smoke on the side of LGD, but let's see where they...
wow.
12-minute Blink Arcanes on FY.
Nahaz is probably losing it back there.
Echo stand back up in a couple of seconds as well. He'll look to set up top at the moment. No one up there on OG.
He can look to set up pretty easily now for Ana all over the place. Ana is very easily killable with a +1 with that Earthshaker. And they even have the global on top of that if they need to just commit even more. So
they need more time on OG. I think you really need, like, max levels of power, blink on your heroes, Nimbus Cloud on Zeus, before your team fight really starts to become a little bit scary. Right now, with no BKBs out on the field, global silence is king.
Yeah, I mean, they need to have a lot coming up from their 3 cores, right? Because Rubik and Nature's Prophet, they're not going to be able to contribute too much into the team fights versus what LGD has.
Especially when Jerax has 0 points up in null field right now. He went for a 4 Fateful build. So team fights, not really OG's strong suit.
Tower is under attack.
So they will be very content to trade towers. I think this definitely benefits OG at this point, especially when Seb is still farming about 700 gold away from
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower.
Seb, once again with the rotation towards the middle lane, has RP available.
Has fallen.
How early do you think Ame needs BKB this game?
I was wondering that as well. It depends on how much he wants to really be involved in all the fights with this team, is what I'm thinking here. He might just go for it as the next item, though.
Can he rely on the rum?
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's a good idea. It takes time for it to pass through you, right? So it's like...
But your Shaker, you have global silence, you have Shaker Blink. I think it might be a risk worth taking. I mean, Ame, he's not the safest of carry players. As we saw last game, he went to Fusel before BKB very early on. So he has nothing in his quick buy yet, but just want to get a feel for his BKB timing.
Yeah.
This top. They go. Global. They dive. Global to set up the jump in from FY as Anna caught out underneath the tier 2 tower. Maybe they can get more as well as Chalice hides onto Jerax. TP will come in from No-Tail, but Chalice commits with the lasso, dragging No-Tail away into the clutches of the rest of LGD as they'll surround him and find a second kill for Ame.
And X-Nova just quietly sneaking by. He's like, yeah, give me all that both int already for him. Just sitting in the back, staying alive. That's what his job is.
And look at the change of build coming out from maybe in this game. Not going for that Shadow Blade, actually just building a hood for his team. Well, for himself at least, for now. If he doesn't want to upgrade it, I don't know if he will, but...
I think in the other games, they had BKB early, they won the team fights, and then late game, they actually got punished, I would say, for buying BKB so early. This game, switching it around a little bit, and the Atos is already out for the Bat Rider, so that's another threat that the Ember Spirit needs to worry about. Normally, he's like, okay, Shaker, yeah, he has a blink, and there's global silence, but he should be okay most of the time. Now there's 3 heroes that can kill him.
Yep. And Ame is going for the greedy build, like you were mentioning. He is going to go for that Yasha, since he has all those different forms of protection from his teammates.
A decent amount ahead as well. 15 minutes, 5k advantage. PSG LGD hitting all these timings, and on top of that, he's already 1200 towards the Shadow Blade Somnus.
Showing in that mid lane.
Now look for the setup, straight for the torrent. They get the connection into the boat, but the Sleight of Fist actually going to be able to come out in time. It may not matter though, X-Nova's in, but the Remnant's out. He'll get himself back to safety, Anna.
What a great slight.
Yeah, dodges everything there. During all this though, the warding
there's
coming
a blink
out again.
coming out from Seb. Has it been scattered out? No, the Zerber Ward's on the low ground. They don't see this coming at all.
Let's see if Seb can get a big jump. Chalice and FY rather close to one another at the moment as they hide behind that tower. Seb.
Look at FY's positioning though. He is so deep in the trees. Perfect place.
And they go. For Chalice, the
Chains
chains
don't
will
hit.
catch in the route. It's going to be down onto the Ember Spirit. Fisher as well onto Seb. And now that he's got that blink, the Urn's down on him as well as the curse. Seb's got to skew himself away. He cannot blink in.
That's not the way you want your Blink Dagger to go though.
He's trying to TP away. Is he going to get out? He is. No, he's not.
He does not.
He ticks down in base. As they'll find themselves Jerax as well. Global silence being used as they'll chase down the Rubik. Two more kills for LGD. Thompson found in the river.
That was just perfect positioning coming out from FY over there. He was ready. Even if he had the RP, I don't think he would have been able to get the skewer off.
They are absolutely crushing this opening PSG LGD.
I mean, they're feeling very confident because they're looking and they're like, there's a Rubik and an H-Prof on the team. The team fights are 100% in their favor. It's all going to be up to Seb if he can land those big RPs, but it's so hard, especially with all these wards. LGD always having vision in every situation before LG's even spinning. That was OG's best chance because it was not spotted.
And Zeus, normally he's pretty safe to go around D-Ward, but not this game. He built a defensive item first on the Yules, so his offensive power, normally you have Aetherland's Veil at this point in the game. His team fight potential is simply not that great.
Bottom tower is under attack.
So what do OG need to do? How do they win team fights? How do they stall this game out? How do they wait for Empower, Ember Spirit to kind of take over the game?
I think they have to be able to play around the global. They can't just be waiting every single time for LGD to have every single ulti available. They have to be able to use, I think they have to be pushing lanes out a lot harder as well, even risking some lives from each other to try to set up these gank plays. Because if they just wait for RP in every single fight, there's no way they're ever going to be able to outpace LGD. Because they're just going to have more team fight in the occasions when RP is on cooldown.
Bottom lane. They're looking for the Terror Blade. TP's coming in. Can they kill him in time? Arme quick with the turn and the Sunder. He's back up to full. As now Anna rooted down by the Rod of Ados. You get the Sleight of Fist off. They do have the control onto Arme. Can they kill him in time? Arme will fall. But so will Anna shortly. He's got the Flame Guard giving him some resistance, but he'll still go down. Thompson using himself up into the AOG. They found two so far, but Thompson's brought back into the boat from Somnus. They'll get themselves a third. They'll look to No-Tail as No-Tail fishes to the face from FY. As again, PSG LGD just coming out on top of these trades. OG tried to get aggressive onto Arme, but the backup's there in time from LGD as they'll take the favorable trade. 4-2.
I do think that's what OG needs to be doing, though. They need to be trying to take these fights. Even if they're a little over-aggressive and all, they can't just allow LGD to wait for their ultis to come up every single time. Because now they've got Global and the Earthshaker ulti as well, which makes the fights just impossible for OG.
No hesitation there from Arme, as you saw, with a quick Sunder. Thompson able to get a decent amount of burst out, but it's just as soon as Somnus turns up the high, he hits a huge Tidebringer, I believe, onto 3 of them there.
They didn't have the Magnus during all this, though. You see Seb is trying to come into the fight, but they've already been outnumbered because of the position where they're in.
It's very typical for this Magnus. It looks like he wants to build a Greaves to deal with the global silence, but that means he's not going to have Shadow Blade. If they find him, they're instantly going to kill him. They're going to blow everything they can on Magnus. Without RP, they do not win the fight. Maybe they can steal. I mean, there's actually no huge spells to steal. You're not going to be able to steal global silence at this point. Echo is, so-so on a Rubik without Blink Dagger. So.
It's like Fissure and any of the, maybe Fissure. The Kunkka Boat. The Kunkka Boat's also pretty significant if you can get it off, but.
Oh yeah, Kunkka Boat is huge, but I don't think anything compares to the RP.
Yeah.
Bottom lane. No-Tail trying to set up onto Somnus. They'll Remnant forward down. The boat's already out though from Somnus. Somnus trying to look into the trees. He's hunting actually down No-Tail. The global silence comes out. Anna not quite able to get on top of X-Nova as X-Nova keeps his distance. Somnus just turning and beating down on No-Tail. No-Tail will go down as well as X-Nova. 1-for-1 at the moment. The sentry's down here from OG. They have eyes on Somnus. Seb still holding him for the side. Then there'll be a buyback for No-Tail. The boat, the stolen boat, the RP through. They're jumping in. The F5's there with a slam, ready to hold off for the fight, but Chalice is so low. Chalice is going to go down. PSG LGD, they've lost 3. F5 with the TPL, won't make it. The sleight of fist, the change. Anna catching out the shaker. Can he TP back in time before the curse kills him? Yes, he can.
Well, that's exactly what we talked about, the stolen boat. The run buff on Ana just pushed them over the edge for that fight.
Literally at the perfect time, too. The boat comes through as FY goes in, so that damage reduction comes into play immediately. That was huge.
What a fight for them to take there. You saw FY jumping in with a slam. If they'd have lost that fight, OG, it could have been just a little too much. At 20 minutes in, they were falling far and far behind. No-Tail, I don't know if he meant to trap himself there. It looked like he tried to block them off between the two of them. I don't know if it would have saved him anyway, though, as they still find the kill. No-Tail taken down. We'll see this once again here.
Great steal of the boat right there, as we see the immediate RP. Everything came out at the same time. It's like RP, Earthshaker ulti, as well as that ghost ship.
The boat gets on all three of them.
Yep.
And another great sight coming out from Ana. He dodged just that little bit of damage.
The boat buff as well on Ana. If that wasn't there, everything sort of just coming into place for OG to be able to take that team fight. But still,
I don't think Ame was involved in that fight, though. So, you know, LGD doing their typical 45. Sometimes it was maybe on the Alchemist this time. It's with Ame on the Terrorblade, and he is looking to get involved very soon, about 300 gold away from his BKB. And I think that fight, also, they singled out the Silencer very early on, making him blow global, and then after that, go in with the RP.
Yeah. I think also it's like Ame didn't have meta available. If he has meta, sometimes he does show up for the fights before the BKB, but now he's got both available, so this is go time for LGD. Even if they... How long's their Echo? So Echo and Global are going to be up in about 20 seconds. So yeah, they're definitely ready to make a fight happen.
They're smoking, but Chalice does not have his blink tag yet. He has to go all the way back, so he's way further behind than the rest of his team.
So they can get the catch onto Ana. Fisher, jump forward from FY. They've got the change done. Is there any way they can play his way out? The Global's coming through. The mech will be popped here. Xana's up into the air. Chalice looks around him, but he gets the slide out. Can he get over to the Remnant as well? No. There's the jump, the RP. They'll get the kill onto Ana. Seb tries to skewer the two of them to the side, but now he's stuck on his own on the low ground. Arme's there on the high ground. Punch the BKB. No messing around for this Terrorblade. As Arme will help take a second here for LGD.
That split was so good. Seb was just waiting for that RP, but he was only able to get one. He thought that they would all clump up around the Ember Spirit.
As they'll look to capitalize on this metamorphosis as much as possible. Straight into the pit they go.
Man, I'm really loving this Atos on the Batrider too. It's just making Ana's life that much more difficult in these fights. He's just having to use the slight to try to buy some time while he's inside that Atos, but then he comes back still controlled.
Well, OG may be looking to fight. There is no Remnant out for on the Ember Spirit.
You get X-Nova on the side of an FY. He jumps in with the Echo Slam. Jarrett's going to be there with the telekinesis, but already they've lost No-Tail. And the X-Mark, it's there onto Thompson, who yules himself up. He will be able to keep himself away. Somnus is hunting, though the Thunder God's Wrath comes through. Let's see Somnus. LGD straight back towards the pit. Oh, FY. Oh, he's losing that fight. The Roshan will smoke his way out.
They need a shrine really fast. Ana going to see this Roche at 20%. Do they really want to leave it there?
It's so low.
No RP up.
No meta on LGD either, but they've got their boat. They've got the strong Kunkka.
And Lasso's almost up too. This is time for Chalice to shine.
Looking too hard, OG.
They have vision, but...
They don't get the Fisher out in time for Jerax to catch FY. Somnus, Chalice, they're in the pit. He tries to jump forward, it's Seb, but instantly FY's there with the reaction. The enchant totem's down. Seb's been cursed. Forward. X-Nova trying to go for it. They do manage to get the chains out onto the Batrider. The courier actually being taken down here, but they've lost one, they've lost two, they've lost three. Buybacks coming out from the two of them. OG, they've got the double kill for Ana. They're pushing LGD away from this pit. X-Nova does not have buyback. Roshan still stands.
Only 12 seconds left for Global. LGD kind of need to reset, but the Roche is so low.
They have nearly got RP back up on Seb. That's both teams ready to fight around the pit. Seb, can he find a chance with the RP? Chalice on the high ground. They're going to head into the pit, OG. They're confident, knowing Seb can sit there on the high ground, ready with the counterplay. Arme getting sprouted. Chalice looks to make a play, jumps in, immediately going for it with the lasso. Has he got the control to get the damage out? He can. That's going to be Ana dead, but Ana buys back straight away. Arme moving in with the BKB. Roshan's still alive throughout this all. They've lost Thompson. The slide, the change, the Remnant across. They'll get the kill onto Chalice, but now Ana's in the middle of it all. Yules himself up the flame guard, ticking FY down like the slide of fist. The RP, Seb, he's got the control onto Arme. As OG, they fight three. They look towards Somnus, surrounding him in the pit. Somnus, he'll go down as well. The buyback from Ana, securing the fight here for OG. There's only X-Nova left alive, but not for long. They chase him down. They get the team-wide triple kill for Ana as he buys back, plays his way back over into the pit, secures OG OG, the team fight, and himself, the Aegis.
Now they have the huge offensive power with the level 4 empower and the offensive no field coming out from Rubik. Now there's just way too much damage. Yeah, they have the hood on the Kunkka, but that's really just not saving anyone at all. He has a lot of HP. He's going for his heart build, but terrible versus Zeus.
And Jerax, during all of this, had Fissure, just constantly throwing those fissures in through the backlines. Sab able to find the opportunity after everybody dies. Global doesn't connect on, it connects on everybody, not in the best situation though, because they were all split up. So Somnus was stuck in the pit there for a while. And with all this wards on the high ground too, they were able to see whatever approach that FY wanted to take to get into it. So he was getting controlled on the Shaker.
Ember's getting a lot of items now. He fought back, but I think he definitely came out on top there. And keep in mind, this is amplified by that Empower.
If he's able to get that Lincoln C, he's going to be so much safer. This Yule's pickup has saved him time and time again in these fights. With that Lincoln C, he has a lot more liberty.
I think they need a BKB on this Bat Rider too. He went for the Atos, which slows down his Blink Dagger, and it slows down his BKB even more.
Yeah, I'm surprised Somnus didn't go for the BKB either, going just for that straight hard. I mean, he loves the item, but...
Oh, no cell. TP straight in here, right by the shrine.
Fissure stolen.
They've got the setup onto FY. It comes down with the remnant, the slide. A fist to find FY, and OG, they're seeing if they can find more.
Arcane Rune on Ember Spirit. No way they take this fight.
Seb, can you get the jump in? They've got the Yules up onto X-Nova Anna. Able to walk in, close the gap onto the silencer. As OG taking 2 down, now leading in this game. 4K net worth advantage for the side and still an Aegis.
Look at the experience drop too. It was both about 5K for LGD as OG make a huge turnaround.
We do have the Blink Dagger on the Terrorblade for LGD so that he can't blink it, but I mean, the reflection is not great here at all. It's actually one of the worst reflection games that I've seen, so yeah, if he goes in and blinks, it's not super scary, and there's a ton of right-click coming up from Ember Spirit. There's a BKB piercing disable with Magnus, so I don't know. I'm not confident in this Terrorblade being able to take over this team fight.
I think they're just trying to, like, the 3 different Blink Daggers to start the fight with that Global and just try to blow up and get on top of that Zeus right away, get into that backline. I mean, the Rubik and the Zeus are really starting to be quite an issue for them.
Chalice, he's in with the opener, straight in with the lasso. The tower will fall, but they'll drag back the Ember Spirit into the torrent, cut him down with the Tidebringer. He's dead, boys, but on the side, they find Arme. Arme's dead for 60. Still alive at the moment, and all the Yules gets the dodge. Anna up into the end, dodging the Echo Slam. Somnus, he's trapped here in the Sprout. OG, they'll slowly punch down the Kunkka. The stolen Fissure, Jerax sets up onto FY. OG take 3 and up into the base. 28 minutes in, OG are threatening the high ground of PSG LGD. This tier 3 tower going down, no buyback on FY, no buyback on Arme.
Arme just getting caught in the backline to that fight, and then that Yule Scepter on
Yeah, it's just way too many defensive abilities at this point.
Yeah.
Especially with Jerax. I mean, they started the fight on FY, got the Fissure, and after that, it's nearly impossible to kill Anna.
I mean, Jerax has been getting literally the most ideal steals in the last few situations. That bottom fight where they got the Ghost Ship, these last 2 fights where he's just had Fissure every single time for his team.
And he doesn't exactly know when to use Global. There's not exactly like the greatest point because they're not initiating with the Magnus. Anna's jumping in. Anna's getting jumped on. He's the one that's starting off the fight, and you don't really Global because they have the Greaves up now on the Magnus. They have the Yules on the Ember Spear, so he can protect himself from that.
They've got the full Ags on Zeus.
Yeah, this is time.
Everything is coming together here for OG.
Just took that one Roche.
Yep. I mean, we're getting Rax. Look at everybody just picked up a full set of items. Getting close to a Lotus Orb now on the Furion 2, or on the Nature's Prophet. They've got the Guardian Greaves going for that pipe, and on Seb, just everybody has acquired so much after that last situation.
And FY in particular has slowed down. He had, what, 12-minute Blink Dagger? Since then, he's picked up an Ogre Axe. That's it. In 17 minutes.
And OG's they're looking to fight here. They feel strong. They know that this Echo Slam is still on cooldown for a bit.
RP is back up. RP's there. They look for the setup onto Arme. They get the chains onto him. Jump forward. Seb! Oh, the RP's just on the tip. Pulls him in, but it's not enough to buy time to kill him. There's Arme. There with the turnaround. Past the Sunder onto Anna. Anna's able to remnant out to the side. Chalice hiding in the trees. Thompson Starting to throw out the lightning as Arme. Chalice backing away. Skewer forward from Seb as he clears out the trees. Chalice still with a Firefly, getting himself away. Will jump himself away from the Nimbus. Backs himself up. X-Nova's got to be careful. He's incredibly low. They're looking to set up with the Torrent. Arme has been sprouted. The solid Fisher from Jarex. Out onto Arme, but then fights him with a slam. Is it enough? No, it's not. LGD, they've lost 2 yet again, but they have managed to find 2 in return. Anna's still alive. The Flame Guard keeping it fun again. The Sleight of Fist cuts down a second double kill for Anna. Chalice surrounded by Seb and Anna here in the trees as OG get the team wipe.
Anna has been unbelievable with these sleight of fists.
Oh, Anna Ember Spirit, a thing that over the years, we saw it before he had his break. And now, back here at the International 2018, he's doing what we've seen him do many times before.
And he's ready to keep going. They know that pretty much everything was expended by LGD there. The meta's on cooldown, the global's on cooldown, the echo's on cooldown. It's their time to shine.
Straight down the mid lane they go. Somnus dead for 40 seconds. The Kunkka does not have buyback for this defense.
They're having to use the Echo to keep Anna down, and that is not what you want from your team fight. And Anna's not even dying in these fights.
Tower gone.
Even for this next fight, Jarex actually stole Ghost Ship at the end of it. So he has this available.
There's a full pipe now, and there's the setup, the Nimbus, bam, the stolen bow, X-Nova gone. Buys back, but OG have taken a second melee rack set and a second range racks. 20,000 net worth lead at 31 minutes.
And they still want to keep going. They know those.
Absolutely do.
They know everything's still on cooldown.
Check the RP timing, it's nearly there again. It is. It's back up.
This could be the last hurrah for LGD here now as OG has pushed this game.
Radiant's top
And they're forced to go full defensive items on LGD because they've just been dying constantly in these fights, and there's this Zeus just throwing out tremendous damage output. And on the flip side, you have Seb. He does not forced to go BKB. He can go full team fight items with the Greaves and the Pipe, and that goes a long way to Anna not dying.
LGD will have some time at least not having that last Raxby push. They will have all their abilities available again, but heavily on the back foot now as we see that gold advantage and that network and that experience advantage heavily in OG's favor.
They're in a really tough spot right now. If they jump on it with everything and he has Remnant out and he buys back, they're all dead and they lose the game and the international. So I don't exactly know what LGD's plan is here to try and win the next fight. Maybe jump Magnus because he can't be there in the fight. Maybe jump the Zeus, but I don't think jumping Ember will win them this fight.
If they can somehow jump the Ember and not have to use absolutely everything to kill him, then that's going to be the dream. But it's been proven to be so hard versus Anna as he's just played this in such a good way.
And Jarex still has the Ghost Ship.
Yeah.
Here we go. OG with the smoke.
They've got all the momentum pushing in from those waves.
They power down the mid lane. Thompson and Anna leading the charge. Somnus on the front at the moment. It's back up to the high ground. PSG LGD playing careful, making sure to not get jumped upon. As OG hide in the shadows, waiting to pounce. PSG LGD won't fall for this one as of yet.
But they're getting suffocated. They're not able to walk outside of the base at all.
No tell. Oh, he drops the ward, but the sentry was down. They knew he was there. They'll catch him hiding in the tree. So now with the Nature's Prophet gone for 85, PSG LGD can relax a little bit more.
But Roshan's almost up. They have the Nimbus Cloud inside to scout as soon as it comes up. And LGD, I don't think they can take a fight if they have the Aegis and Cheese.
Yep, I think they have to contest that next Rosh. So we see them, they're going to be smoking out.
It's their best chance.
Coming in though.
It's super obvious now that the mid wave has been touched, and
so
even more obvious.
And now they know.
They know exactly where they are, and OG are nowhere to be found, and sadly Roche is not even up.
And gets hit by the Nimbus as well, so. And a scan to throw on top.
Oh, there's an Arcane Rune on the Zeus.
Oh.
That is one of the worst possible scenarios for LGD.
Oh, and a full Octarine on Anna.
Octarine on Anna. Good luck controlling this Ember Spirit now. Level 23 as well. As Anna charges forward. Finds himself the change. The boat is going to head over towards his way, but he uses up. His Linkers has been pot set. Goes with the RP, dragging back to the Kunkka. Can they kill off Somnus? He's very tanky without heart. It looks like he'll be fine. They'll get the Chalice jump with the lasso onto the Ember Spirit. The FY Echo Stab as well onto Anna. Can they actually kill him what they don't have the damage. Anna's able to get the sleight of fist out. There'll be a buyback from Thompson. It's Jarrett. The solo figure onto 2. Sets up for the double kill. Anna, he's found 2, and OG looking for more. Seb trying to hunt down Somnus. The dust upon him. Seb's got the skew. He's got the blink up. Can he peel him back towards his teammate? He can't quite catch him. Somnus will be able to back up and Nota. He's in with the sprout chains. The setup's there. Anna closing in. He'll be forced to the side. Somnus, can he get himself back to the fountain? He'll turn. He'll clean out the summons there with the Tidebringer hit. But he's stuck in the tree line. Anna just going for the kill. Is Somnus still alive? Get themselves now a bigger target. Potentially Arme. Arme. He's sprouted. He has got something. Can he get it off? He can't. Arme cut down. As the tier 4s now being taken by OG. There's all the time. People they get Chalice. It's another down. OG, can they get Somnus? He's doing his best to hold. 10 seconds before he's got teammates back in Seb. Peeling Somnus away from the fountain. Anna's on top of this Somnus. Down to half health. He's trying to retrieve for the chains. They get themselves another Somnus taken down. Azame with a BKB reflection. Anna starting to be forced back. They have got X-Nova and FY back in the game now. No Echo Slam or Global. The Ancient is exposed. As OG, the Nimbus down, the shockwave from Seb gets themselves another. They're onto the Ancient. OG. OG.
They've done it. They have done it.
Done it. The power of flowers and friendship. I've done it here, ladies and gentlemen. Your grand champions of TIA. It's OG. Can you believe it? OG, a team tipped by some to be the 18th most likely to win TI, and they've just gone and done it.
They don't believe it. You look at them in the booth, they look stunned.
They've just gone and done it.
That was
a team that was shaken up months before this event.
They just reformed the team.
Thompson, he's only been playing for a couple of days.
His earnings were $3,000 before this.
Oh my goodness. OG.
Congratulations.
OG.
To OG, they deserved it. They played out of their minds in this entire tournament. They didn't follow anyone else's strategy. Maybe that was a stepping stone.
They just played their own game, and it was miraculous.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, OG, your TIA champion!
Wow. What a game and what a match. OG have done it. They've completed the miracle run. Thompson, his first professional LAN event. No-Tail, you can see just the joy overcoming him with his teammates Seb and Jerex. Truly a redemption story here at the International.
Thompson, $3,000 in your pocket. You come to TI, you get an email from No-Tail, you're a TI champion. What? I wish we could keep going, but go get the Aegis! It's yours! Rogers Arena! Cinderella's story ain't got nothing on this! OG! Your TIA champion! absolutely beautiful moment. You'll see more from them at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre tonight. Chobra, I think the crowd is saying it all.
Indeed. OG, that's all we can hear here in the Rogers Arena. And they've done it. They've completed the Cinderella story. And better than that as well. I mean, on our panel, we have Trent Nahaza-Shiver, and the story couldn't have gotten any better than this.
It's such a beautiful sight. The friends and family all there, up to congratulate them on something that you worked for all year, every hour of your day, sweating into that Dota.
It's...
And that's what it's for. That right there.
This is OG's moment.
I would not have picked them as a favorite for a single series they played at TI.
No.
And somehow they did it.
What an incredible, incredible run. Obviously incredible here in Vancouver, but a couple months back,
oh.
they were left stranded. Oh. And then here they are.
3 months ago, almost to the day.
Yeah.
It was May 27th when this team, labeled one of the most disappointing teams of the DPC season, having lost what most consider to be the best free agent pickup on the market, were shattered. They lost their 4-time major winning captain. They lost one of the most storied players in the game's history in S4. And here they are, not even 3 months later, on the stage, the greatest Cinderella story in the history of Dota 2.
Immortality.
That hug.
That says it all on how much this team wanted it, how much No-Tail wanted it, but as well all members of the team, and not just the players. I mean, you saw it as it ended, and there you have it, Rogers Arena, your champions, OG, here at the International 2018, lifting up the Aegis of Champions. No one would have thought that this was the chant we were going to hear today at this time, but wow. Wow.
Sebastian had retired to become a coach and is like, well, you know what? I want to be back. I want to be a player.
After all these years.
And here he is. This is No-Tail's 6th TI.
Unbelievable.
And he was together with the same group of people, and they were so close. They were doing so well. They've had so many amazing runs, just as the OG brand as well. Last TI, 7th, 8th. And here they are.
Yeah, none of that matters anymore.
Ooh.
Ladies and gentlemen, once more in the Rogers Arena for OG. And OG get to write the very last chapter of the International 2018. I mean, this is